Good evening. We're live from the ESA studio. It is me, Bozemex, together tonight with Pubble. Welcome, Pubble. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good. We're finally getting a bit of good weather in the UK.
Oh,
Kind
nice.
of long overdue, but enjoying the sun. Enjoy the sun today, and we've got a good match ahead of us.
Yeah, it's certainly like very nice weather today and a very good match indeed. It's going to be Black versus Penta, two very big teams that we've seen both, of course, a lot in the group stages. They were actually in the same group together, which is an interesting fact. We're both coming from Group B, and today they're actually going to have their rematch because they did already play once before. We did see them play one match during the group phase, which was the BO1 match, and it was actually Black winning the match with a 7-2 score. So that was an absolute huge score for them compared to Penta. Penta maybe kind of even underperforming back then. I'm not entirely sure what went wrong that day. But yeah, today they're going to get the well-deserved rematch. And there's no better way to have a rematch within a BO3 where there's not just one map to be played, but two or three even. So I'm very excited for today. Yeah, Black and Penta, going to be a really cool match, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And although it was a 7-2, that was the only loss Penta had in their group. It's still a
Yeah,
very strong team. And as you said, best of three, we're going to be seeing these map pools really be tested.
yeah.
Best of one's much easier to get these fluke victories, but it's a proper test of endurance. You've got to
Mm-hmm.
have solid strategies, many solid strategies to win these best of three matches. So
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be a really close match.
I'm certainly hope it's going to be a close match. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. We have seen many one-sided matches in the group stage, but also very close matches, and especially now we're getting down to basically the top. The top 16 it was for the group for the playoffs. I think there's only about 12 teams remaining at the moment, of which we once said goodbye was E-Wave on Monday. They played and they lost unfortunately, and that's when they got eliminated. So there's only 11 teams remaining. Another one will be eliminated. So excuse me, eliminated today. It's going to be either one of those teams, and I can really not imagine that they are either one of them is looking forward to be that team. So yeah, let's just jump into the jump before. Let's see what we're actually looking at. If we actually look at the full bracket, we can just quickly see it right here. This is the one I was looking for. The full bracket, it's a bit big and a bit difficult to read on your screen. So let's just quickly zoom in on the lower bracket of the lower part of the brackets, which is the one that we are seeing today. It's Team Black versus Penta. Nightwolf already won against E-Wave, so that will be the future opponent of the winner of this team. And later this week, we have two other matches, which is Team Misclick versus Molotov Gang UK and Trucker Clan versus Empire Esport. And at the end of the week, there will be 4 less teams and then only 8 teams remaining. So it's going to be a very cool week. And the amount of teams is just getting smaller and smaller as we once started with 32 teams in total. So yeah, of course, like usual, we always do like a little prediction in the Twitch chat. In the Twitch chat as well, but also in Twitter. So I'm actually very curious what the result was of that. It should be popping up on the stream anytime soon. Let's just quickly see if we can get it to appear. Let's see. Here we go. It should be there right now. There we go. Ooh.
Penta favored.
It's 40 to 60%. We have seen less close ones than this one, where it was maybe like 20 to 80, but 40 to 60, it's somewhat close, but definitely the advantage or the majority of the votes going to Penta. I believe it was a total of 38 votes, so it's actually a decent bit of information that we're getting here from our community. So I'm actually very curious to see, because like we said, these two teams played against each other before, and it was Penta losing 2-7, which is not an ideal score, like not even great score. So yeah, either Penta has really improved himself or just had a really bad day back then. But I really just hope they have been able to prepare themselves, been watching the streams when Black was playing, and really are able to make some kind of comeback, or at least like fight back against Black to get at least some better results, or potentially even win this day. So yeah, let's just jump into the map end so we actually see which maps we're going to be playing today. Okay, so as far as I believe, it's actually Penta starting the map bans for today. Of course, we always do the coin flip, where a team gets to decide which one is starting to ban, and I believe it was Penta in this case. So the map bans will be appearing anytime on the screen. Let's see which maps are going to be banned. Of course, we're starting with 2 bans on on each team, after which each team can pick one map, ban another one, and then the decided map is the one that's going to be played as last. So yeah, the maps are popping up on the screen. Feel free to talk about it for now. What do you think about these maps?
We're seeing Border getting banned, so immediately that strikes that these teams sort of want to play in this more structured form. We don't want to see these sort of insane gunfight favored, matchups. We want this sort of the strategies to be tested.
Yeah.
Charlotte, slightly lesser extended, is more sort of setup favored, but you can see rounds go either way based on these critical gunfights. We're seeing Bank and Sky getting removed as well, which they're more sort of slow-paced maps for the attack. Maybe says that these teams don't want to commit to these large setups, these large sort of roam clears, especially Bank is a huge map to clear out all that surface area. So these teams might not be that confident on their roam clears, on their extended setups, and they just want to play sort of closer to site. And we're seeing that with Oregon especially. That is a very small enclosed map that maybe does favor some of those gunfights that you'd see on Border. So interesting that makes it through the veto. Oregon much more well known than Border amongst teams. It's been in the map pool since forever, really. Most people, any team should know how to play it. Theme Park, interestingly, the second pick, a much less favored map. A lot of teams don't want to invest the time into these setups because it plays quite differently with the very sort of split nature of the map. It's being split on either side with that waiting room connecting the floors. And finally, Villa, which, although it seems like a very big map, actually is quite sort of contained. You don't see a lot of gunfights, a lot of, anything really happening on that basement. So it's actually a lot smaller map than it seems. So we're going to be seeing a lot of these sort of, I don't want to say chaotic rounds where, there's a lot of gunfights in a very small amount of time. I don't envy your task as observer trying to, get all that action at once, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be very interesting maps. I believe these are even the exact same maps as we saw on Monday. I believe even the same order. Just one little issue with map ban right here is kind of a weird one, but it's actually Team Park first, Oregon second, and Villa as decider. It has to do with the fact that PENTA started the bans, and they're usually, of course, the second pick, but now they're the first pick. So that's why that's a little two, even though Team Park is technically the first map to be played. So they're going to be very interesting ones. We're going to start in Team Park with PENTA on the attack and Black on the defense. Then we're going to go to Oregon with Black on the attack, PENTA on the defense, and then for Villa, of course, will be decided based on the round history and in rare conditions where the both scores, the round difference will be exactly the same for both maps, which actually happened on Monday. A coin flip will happen, and that's how we decide it for the third map. So I believe that all the players are ready. Let me just quickly double check this fact. Yes, I believe they are all ready. So let's just jump into the match and see how things will go for today. So yes, as the map is loading in, we're seeing the beautiful I was about to say Cafe Dostoevsky. We, of course, mean Team Park. Even it's already so long that this map was released. I believe it's in Hong Kong. Am I saying that correctly?
I think, Legion and Ying are from Hong Kong. So
yeah, right? And
it's from Hong Kong.
It's their map. Yeah.
They sometimes like to sort of change the map based on, from the operators, but I'm 90% sure it's Hong Kong.
Yeah, right. That's also what I'm thinking. So yeah, we're gonna go to the beautiful Hong Kong Team Park, where we're just gonna play the first map of today out of the three, or two of three maps in this BO3 that we're going to be seeing today. We're starting off with the operator bans. The first operator ban is coming from Team Blue, which is Team Black, and this is Nuk, which is not all too surprising. Like we have already mentioned before, Nuk is one of those operators that we have already seen being banned so many times before. Even if we look currently at the ban statistics, she has been banned 56 times, the most banned attacker with a 52% ban rate. And then followed by Thatcher, which we used to see a lot of times before in previous seasons, but luckily his ban rate has gone down dramatically since we have seen a major, since the introduction of the EMP Impact Nade.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of other operators have sort of filled that spot that at one time was a very niche role that only Thatcher could fill. We're seeing Solus as well, a very strong, commonly banned defender. That utility is incredibly valuable. Being able to destroy drones, spot out gadgets can really help your roamers make plays that they wouldn't have been sort of felt the confidence to otherwise. And that is why Solus is just such a potent operator that we've seen time and time again, either picked or banned. And finally, we're having that Mira being banned out. Mira, another very strong defender, very good for holding specific angles, positions, because it gives a massive confidence boost to the defender, a massive advantage in that gunfight. And a lot of the time, just seeing a mirror window will scare off an attacker from going for a certain push, because they just can't win that fight the majority of the time.
Yeah, Mira is certainly one of those very interesting operators on maps like Team Park. I believe even yesterday we did see Mira being picked on this map. Let me just quickly verify that because Mira wasn't banned on this map. It was in the end, it was Azami, which is also a very strong operator. I'm no doubt that we actually eventually will be seeing her tonight. But then it was it's Azami instead of Mira. So Mira won't be played today, and that's going to be interesting. So apparently there's one little interesting thing with one of the player pings, so we've got to keep an eye on that for a little moment. Might need to rehost if the problem consists to exist. But yeah, let's just hope the problem will be solving itself anytime soon.
Yeah, and we're going to be seeing this Armory Throne defense. A lot of teams favored primary site. Very strong, very easy to hold. There's not a lot of inlets in, and as long as you can really delay that breach from the attackers, they will have to go through these very sort of unfavored areas like that dragon door, like that split corridor, that really funnel them into these small positions that make it just so easy for them to be killed. Which is why we're going to be seeing this blitz just really speed up this whole process. That being said, they're not bringing the hard breach, so we're looking at what is likely going to be a full rush. This kind of composition really can't work unless it's a rush, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the Sledge go into that wall next to Split. Kamikaze doesn't seem to have a good enough awareness. That being said, he takes out the Sledge, can't kill the other 4 members, but that's all they need. They get those 2 picks. It's now a 4v2. They get 3 picks. Karma low as well. Legoman comes in, and just like that, this first round is basically already over. Yep.
Wow. Wow, that was an absolutely such a fast round. A really interesting way to start the match, like to really wake up your opponents. It could have gone either way, you know. Like sometimes these rushes work really well, but for some reason this time it didn't work as well as the attacking team, in this case Penta, was hoping to. Which officially already resulted in a very quick round loss and putting a score on 1-0. I believe we need to actually pause it. I'm afraid we're actually a little too late, as the timer did already hits 0. Or did I? No, I did actually pause in time. So let me actually see it. Apparently pause is needed, so apparently there are too big of an issues with the current ping of some of the players. So we're just quickly gonna see what the players are saying in the match chats. Apparently it's like a little ping bug, and if we pause the timer long enough, apparently it should go away. At least that's what's being said for now. But yeah, this actually gives us some extra time to talk about this first round. It's kind of like a wild card, like a guess, you know, like performing such a rush, you never really know what's going to happen. Like it's such a huge risk.
Yeah,
but it might just pay off, especially like in the very first round where your opponent is might not even be ready. Like they just had dinner, they're just getting ready to play their first match of today, or first map of today. I guess it could be a really good moment to actually start with a rush. And yeah, apparently the ping issues results to actually resume the timer. But like I'm saying, it might just be a really good way to start a map, and especially if you were to win the round of attacker, it's a really good way to basically set the tone. Like, hey, we're Team Penta. This is what we can do. You're in for some trouble for today, so better get ready because there's a lot more where this is coming from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sorry.
Just want to say, to me, a rush like that, round 1, really shows that Penta want to set the pace for this matchup. Yeah. And if they were victorious in that rush, it would be a really sort of strong blow onto the mental game of Black, that Penta have just come in there. They aren't showing you the respect to go through a proper clear. They're just going to push you straight onto site and win. Of course, that kind of falls apart because Black massively dismantled that rush. So we're going to be seeing a much more structured, standard attack from Penta here. More noticeably, they're bringing the hard breach this time. There's no sort of odd picks like the blitz. It's very standard, very in meta at the moment. We're seeing 2 sets of those EMP grenades as well, so they're going to want to be breaching open these walls. They're bringing that sort of security that maybe bringing a second set of smoke grenades wouldn't allow them to have. They can, you know, get away with these picks going away from them early. If their OSA or their line dies early, they're not left completely hopeless for that round. And this is going to be a much different round from that first one, so we can't take too much away from round 1. You know, rushes, they can win, they can help any team win or lose, essentially. So it's going to be interesting to see. This is sort of the first actual round of play, and we need to see how Penta go about this.
Yeah, and as Penta is making their first bit of entry, we're seeing an Ota coming out, a very strong operator, which was banned various times yesterday for very good reasons. You can be very strong in taking control, and once you have like these lines of sight on a hallway like this one, you just have so much line of sight. It's such a safe way to just approach this. There's various players playing in the office area from where you can even have a very clear line of sight into, and the shield just providing so much protection. That could really help you. But yeah, as long as you stay behind the shield, I mean, then it's going to provide the protection that you need. But unfortunately, as you peek out, you could be getting taken out, and that's exactly what happens to Tim. He's been taken out. It's a 5 versus 4 right now, where one of the defenders just got revived, and Tether also going to kill Tyro. So it's 5 versus 3 with 3 attackers remaining within the first 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, we saw Tim really get a little bit over-eager for that gunfight. He didn't need to take it.
So
Just
with a 5 versus 3 situation right now, we're just waiting for the attackers to get further control. As Ace, however, does find Tether. It's the first defender losing his life. It's a Thunderbird off the boards. Most of her utility was likely already placed. She potentially still had a Z4, which has gone down with her towards the grave. But still, it's now 5 versus 3 situation. Her utility is placed, so it can be used by her teammates. But at the same time, it's getting a bit closer. But as Madrino gets a kill, risks it's Karma with a kill on Madrino. It's a 3 versus 2, still in the advantage of the defending team, and only 2 attackers remaining as Karma finds a kill on Legoman and breaks things to 2 versus 2.
Yeah, and we've seen Penta do a very good job here to claw this round back. They've still got this Osa shield to apply this pressure, but they've got the man advantage now equal. And that's really inexcusable from the side of the defense. You start off with that 5v3 advantage, and you just let these picks slip away. It's a little bit of this over-aggression that did actually punish Penta to begin with, but now the defense have fallen into that same trap. It took the Cake and Kamikaze to hold these cross angles to win out this round that should have been won 30 seconds ago. The Penta attack hasn't inlet in. They have that breach into the wall, and they can also go through the 2 doors either side of it. They need to isolate these 1v1s, and that's exactly what they do. Cake goes put down, and Kamikaze is stuck on that yellow corridor. He has to retake now. It's a 2 versus 1. Penta choose to get this diffuser down, making it an effective 1 versus 1, but that being said, Karma wins the gunfight anyway.
That's indeed Karma winning the first gunfight, winning the gunfight and taking out the final defender, meaning this round will be won by the attacking team. So Penta, after losing that first round, taking a risk though, they finally managed to win one and put the score on an equal 1-1. Like we said, that's exactly what we're hoping for. We're hoping to see close matches for today. So the fact that this match is starting out with a 1-1 score is very promising. Again, if we just remember the prediction that was done by the community, it was a 60-40% vote in the advantage of Penta. Again, that's, in my opinion, a very close result, and could really mean that this match is going to be very interesting for today. We did also do a Twitch prediction as well, which should have ended by now. Yes, it did. There, of course, the response is a little bit lower as they just ran for a much shorter time. But there, actually, the advantage is going to Team Black with 4 votes and 2 to Penta. So I think in the end, like below on the bottom of the line, I do think this match looks very promising to be very close between these 2 teams.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Penta is favoured here, although they did lose that group stage matchup. Penta is the only one of these teams to actually win in the playoffs. They lost their first round in the upper bracket, which put them down into the lower bracket, but then they did win that lower bracket first round. Black, on the other hand, were going in very favoured into the upper bracket, but they lost in catastrophic fashion.
Yeah, they indeed did. It was an absolute terrible way for them to go down during that match. Like in the end, this is the group stage, so losing there doesn't matter as much as like here, especially in the lower brackets. Like if you lose here, you're basically out, and that's what Penta doesn't want. But back in the group stage, you can afford to lose those games, so it's not too big of an issue. And I just hope it was a really good lesson for them to just see on how they can improve against a team like Black. Hopefully they can perform a little bit better. Black is one of those teams who hasn't only lost 1 match so far, I believe, as well. Yeah, I believe I'm saying that correctly. Yes,
yeah, just that upper bracket match.
Yeah, only
they
the
were
upper
flawless
bracket
in groups.
Yeah, they're only flawless in groups so far. Yeah, I was basically remembering which teams were the ones again that hasn't lost a single match, and those are villains and minions. But Black, yeah, in the end, only lost 1. They used to be one of those for a very long time, but then they lost 1 of those matches in the upper brackets.
Legoman going down early on the smoke. That's a crucial pick from Karma onto there. I assume all 3 Toxic Babe canisters still in pocket. That's a huge piece of time denial for that defense that's now off the board. The damage is also Madrino, and it's gone completely untraded so far. Not a lick of damage on the attack, and we're seeing Tim with that same Osa shield applying that pressure. That being said, Madrino, he eventually responds, gets a pick onto the Yana. That's 1 set of those nades gone from the attack, but unlike last round, Penta has brought backup. They've got Risk on that sledge. He still has a nade in the hand. If they need to, they can still dislodge defenders from these more fortified positions. And we're seeing the EMP gadget being used here to get that wall open. I assume we'll see Aina get that ace breach charge. Oh, it gets zapped out. And another one gets got by the Whammy. He finally hits one, but that's all their hard breach gone. They're going to have to go for kills. Being said, Karma, he's doing a good job with that. He gets 1, gets 2, bringing it to 3 on the round. They now have this full uncontested site control. Once again, it's going to have to be a retake from the side of Team Black, but Kamikaze with a beautiful pick onto Karma. He gets that wall open as well, making this retake much easier. Tata's still alone on this top yellow again. 2 rounds in a row, he's been left in a 1vx, and they know exactly where he is.
It's only Tethers remaining in a 1 versus 3 situation. His position is indeed very much known. He just was in a gunfight war, one of the players who is currently playing inside the vault. Currently no plant attempt happening yet, as the Ace is the one carrying the diffuser, who's kind of trapped inside the vault, but as Risk is stepping in. Coming from the bunk area, he finds the last player, the Jaeger, on top of Yellow Stairs, takes him out, and that's another round win for Penta, putting the score on 1-2, and will now be proceeding to round 4.
Yeah, and these defenses from Team Black, they're just letting them slip away. They're sacrificing these picks early. We saw the Smoke get killed immediately, which is just, it's such a colossal waste of utility there. Smoke is the key part of those defenses to keep the attackers at bay, but Penta are just able to get in, they're able to get these first picks, and most importantly, they're not being traded until much later on. That gives Penta a huge advantage. 1 man up, you suddenly have so much more freedom to move around that map without having to worry about being in a constant gunfights everywhere. Penta really just setting the pace well on the attack, and we saw round 1, we saw that rush didn't go to plan, but now that they're playing sort of properly, normally you'd say, they're doing much better.
They're certainly doing much better, and now for the first time we're technically going to see a real proper attack from them on the Throne Armory bomb site. One, of course, was played once before by Team Black and was won by Team Black, but of course that was the very risky rush round from Penta, which they did not end up winning. So I can really assume that today, right now, they're going to go for a much safer, a much cleaner approach, really drawing for the right kind of information and just playing as a team a bit more, where they will not be playing as aggressively, which will hopefully be a bit more successful for them. So right now, it's again another attempt for them to go for the attack here. And let's see how they will do. They have brought along the Jackal, which can certainly help them find some of those roamers, which can be very catastrophic for them. And it will really help them to find the proper intel to avoid unnecessary picks against them.
Yeah, and that's really going to be hindering Tadas' roam game here. He's picked that Vigil because he doesn't want to get spotted by drones. He wants to waste as much time as possible and keep the attack at bay. The job of the roamer is always to waste time, and getting kills is a good bonus. That being said, Kamikaze, he launches that Nitro out very aggressively, gets rid of Tiro again. Tiro 0-4 currently on this Yana, this high impact roll. Karma goes down as well. The guns from Team Black are finally find their mark. Maybe this throne defense is exactly what they need to get back on track. We're seeing this 5v3 advantage for them. Tim very close to a gunfight. Leatherman has just maneuvered himself into the bathroom, gets shut down by Tim on that Jackal, showing that the ability isn't all that you need. You just want that good gun to win these gunfights. And now we're finally getting a bit of quiet in this round. That opening minute where you'd expect to see this was shattered by that Nitro early on. That being said, Tadas, he aggresses again. Black, they've got their confidence back, finally.
Yeah, they finally have the confidence back as this brought him to a 4 versus 2 situation. Tim currently proceeding towards the Yellow Stairs area, even though the Vigil is still on the loose. They know this. Aina is currently trying to lock him inside of the area there, where he's currently trapped. And as Tim is proceeding towards initiation, they could lock him inside and just try to trap him there and try to pick him up together. So as the position is now known, Tadas knows he's in trouble. He knows he's being hunted by 2 attacks from each side. He needs to be very careful here. The only way out would be through office, but as he's getting found by the Jackal, he's getting taken out. It's a 3 versus 2. It's technically still possible for the attacking team. They still have 50 seconds on the clock, and they do still have a hard breacher. Where it's only the mute, or actually both the mute and the Kaid to contest that. So hard breaching might become very difficult. The only way to really do any hard breaching right here will be to find any bits of those utility and then open up those walls. But as the time is now nearing the 37-second mark, time is going to be very short. I need to be very careful here.
And we did see the value of that Jackal there, managing to pin down that roamer and really get top floor control. And Tim, he doubles down, he triples down, gets 3 on the round now. He's kind of opened up this round for them. They still haven't got a proper ingress into sight, but the man advantage is now dead even, and they can get away with breaching a wall. Mute doesn't cover the full double wall, but that being said, Tim, finally his reign of terror is ended, and Madrino picks up the final pick, giving Black their first real defensive round here. They won that rush round 1, but they finally managed to dismantle that roam clear, waste time, and win a proper defensive round.
Yeah, it was about time. Of course, Penta won 2 rounds in a row, basically meaning that Black lost 2 rounds in a row. So be able to deny this streak, that's a very good thing for them, bringing us to a 2-2 score, even score. So we're back to square one. It's back to an equal score, just like in round 2. And with only 2 rounds remaining before the rolls up, it's just really a question which team will be better on which side. There's a very good chance that we will head towards the 3-3 score, which will be very cool. But at the same time, it was this is the map picked by Penta, so the side was picked by Black. They did pick the defense, so you would kind of hope that they will win at least 4 rounds out of those to make the 4-2 split, which will be ideal for their for their side pick. 3-3 is still workable, but it's not as good, and especially if things will end up in 2-4 in the advantage of Penta, then Black didn't do too well on their side. So we'll see how things go. 2 rounds remaining, so 2 rounds for Black to remain as a defending team, and for Penta to remain as the attacking team. After those 2 rounds, things will swap.
Yeah, absolutely. And although, as you said, this is Penta's map pick, the defense is so heavily favored on Theme Park. So going down 4-2, as you said, or even 3-3, it doesn't paint a good picture for Black. They need to be winning these rounds, and right now, they've only managed to win on that Throne Armory site, and one of them was just shutting down a very sloppy rush round 1. It just doesn't feel the confidence in this Team Black side. They seem to get their confidence back on that round, but suddenly, once again, they have to defend these rounds that these sites that they've just been torn apart on. We need to see them maintain that confidence they had last round. We need to see them even improve it. They let a couple gunfights get away from them. They let that man advantage leave them. It could have gone either way after that. We just need to see Black playing a little bit more structured, keeping that man advantage favored, get that early pick, and then play a lot more passively, which is something we just didn't see last round.
No, something we didn't really see, and something we did see before is Tim playing on Oza. Oza playing her shield here on the Dragon Stairs, facing throughout the long hallway, which is again a very strong position where we saw Oza play countless times so far. And as it has been working a little bit, there's a good reason that they will continue to repick this. One of the things they need to be very careful of is, however, the player playing currently here in Initiation Room. From Initiation Room, we can easily go for a flank. Before we did see the Vigil perform such flanks. And as none of the Penta members is currently really actively watching the flank, need to be very careful of those. Aina, however, getting the first kill, finally taking out the first defender, which is Feathers, as the Valkyrie of the board, potentially taking aggressive C4 down the grave. At least it's the opening kill, which can hopefully lead to more.
Adreno responds though, finally gets that pick onto Tim. We've seen them bring the impacts this time to try and get rid of the Osa shield. They've let one pick get away from them, but they finally killed this Osa. But the damage has already been done. They've pushed them out of office, they've got this waiting control, now they can pinch this guy in initiation. It was a good attack from Penta, and once again, we've seen that Osa shield 3 times now go virtually unanswered. They want to get Kamikaze, they get that pick. Now initiation control is up to them. They have a solid way into sight with that rotate. Legoman does respond by getting rid of Karma, but now it's up to Madrino to hold this angle. Tira goes down as Legoman. He's really just keeping Black in this match. Madrino goes down as well. That's 6 and 3 player gone. It's 2v2 once again. But the attack still haven't found an ingress into sight. They're still outside. They've got this map control, but it's taken them much longer to actually get in. And an angle unwatched allows Cake to get a free kill. Aina responds a quad kill for him. He could be on for the ace in this round if Legoman doesn't clutch it up. It's a 1 versus 1. Aina is planting behind this cover. There's no smoke left. He has to go to gunfights, and Legoman wins it. Ace denied for Aina. And another Team Black defense, which is a really just good thing to see after that round 2 and 3 was just appalling from them. They're finally winning these gunfights. They're wasting time. They're playing defense on Siege the way you'd really want to see it.
Yeah, I wasn't keeping a close eye on the diffuse timer, but I believe that ESA got so incredibly close to actually getting the diffuser fully down. In the end, it might not have mattered too much as he was taken out right after he walked away from his position. But it was a very strong position. Like, we could see the final player just looking in his direction so many times, but there were just so many obstacles in front of him. So technically, he could have really stick to the diffuser there, but unfortunately, just it didn't really work out too well for him anyway. So such a very close round, but again, indeed, like you're saying, Black finally fighting back, now winning 2 rounds in a row, just like Penta did in the second and third rounds. And now they're finally back in the lead after they lost it after round 1. So currently 3-2 score, only 1 round remaining for the Black on the defense, only for Penta on the attack. And after this round, we will have the rolls up. So we'll either see a 4-2 score or a 3-3 equal score. But it will be good to see from Black. It will be a good thing for Black if they will end up with a 4-2 score, since they did pick the defense on this map. But either way,
we're seeing Tatters on that Azami, a very strong operator that has gone unbanned, but we haven't seen it yet. But this is the final defensive round for Team Black, so it might leave you wondering if this Azami is the thing that really stalls this Penta attack. Have they left it too late? Have they let those 2 rounds get away from them? When in reality, if they just brought that operator, they could have won. I think it's a good thing to focus on here, because that operator is just so strong and so good at wasting time.
Well, as the attackers are making their way towards the building, they're just looking for the first way. And actually, quite a bit of damage already being done to 2 of the attacking members after Madrino actually even gets a kill on Tyro. That's already the Yana taken off the board in a very short amount of time, within the first 45 seconds. Also, Aina being heavily damaged, only being left with 20 HP or so. That's a very good start for Black, and exactly what they need if they want to bring this round, map to the 4-2 score. Especially as that also get a kill on Tim. That's another member taken care of. That's the Oza of the board. You no longer need to worry about her as well. And there's only 3 attackers remaining: Risk, Karma, and Aina in this 5 versus 3 situation.
And that's wonderful from Black here. They get those 2 picks, these really high impact picks. The Osa and the Yana gone. That's a set of nades and EMPs off the board. And just like that, Tad, as he gets out of there, he gets back to a more fortified position on site. Something we criticized them for previously when they were just still over-aggressing with that man advantage, which let these rounds slip away. But we're seeing Tatters, he retreats. He knows that his life is more important than going for this pick because they're at such a big advantage already. Kamikaze doubles down on that, getting a kill into Karma. And now Team Black, they're fortified in sight, and this attack has really made no progress.
No, attack is certainly not making any progress. Still, Aina currently, Risk still stuck here on the balcony, actually getting taken out, and as Legoman also gets a kill, and the other member, one of the other members of Team Black. Both of the 2 remaining Penta members are being taken out in a split second, meaning there's another round going towards Black, and this is exactly what they needed, a 4-2 score. They were behind on a 1-2 once before, but they were able to fight it back and break this to a 4-2 by winning 3 rounds in a row. A great comeback from Team Black here, exactly what they needed, like I said. And as we now proceed into round 7, we have had the roll stop just now, meaning that Black will need to attack and Team Penta will need to defend. And it's just a question which team will do better on which side. Technically, the fact that Black already has 4 points will certainly aid them, because the attack is technically a bit more difficult on a map like Team Park. But the thing for Penta is, of course, they are now defending, and they should have a bit more opportunities here to win some rounds, as again, the defense might work in their favor.
And straight away, we're seeing Tim go for that Azami. He saw the value of it in that previous round, and they don't want to make the same mistake as Black. They don't want to let these early defenses slip away from them. So he's going to be bringing that. We've seen him excellent on that Osa. He clearly knows how to play around these angles well, just applying pressure. He's not got the highest amount of kills, but his presence stalled those defenses out and allowed Penta to get that map control that won them those 2 attacking rounds. He's on that Azami now, a bit more of a sort of fracking focused operator with a very good submachine gun, very good secondary. So we're going to be seeing how this Azami impacts on these other defensive rounds, and we'll kind of answer that question of, did Black leave it too late to bring out that operator? Could they have potentially got a 5-1 half? I'm not going to say 6-0, but that time wasting is something they really needed in those 2 defenses that they conceded, and that's what Penta are going to sort of be focusing on with that Azami, Capcan as well, and the Mute Mozzie combo. They want to sort of suffocate this flow of intel. They want to cause the attack to really just double down on this roam clear. They don't want to give anything away for free. They want to waste time, and that's exactly what this setup screams to me.
And it's exactly like Penta risk playing currently on the cap cam. We've seen it so many times on Monday and being so effective. It's one of the things we talk about, like how trap operators can become so effective on the higher skill levels. But meanwhile, actually, lots of things happening. What the hell is going on here? Lego Man just getting 2 kills, or maybe even the third. I'm not even sure how many kills he just got there. But there's 3 members of Penta taking out Tyro, Aina, and Tim, all losing their life in a very short amount of time. Just Karma and Risk remaining versus 5 attackers. Things are not looking great for Penta at this moment, as they still have a lot of work to do in order to still work their team around. But attackers are starting to work a little bit more aggressively, although it seemed like it, but in the end it turned out to be a Yana hologram walking into the objective, as it could have been a player.
And just a flurry of aggression from the attack there. I'll be honest, my feed cut out for about 5 seconds.
Right.
As I look back, and it's a 5v2. So
Wow.
the attacking team of Team Black really doing a good job there. We're seeing that OSA being used, I assume, to great effect. It was certainly working well for the side of Penta when they brought it. Risk finally answers back, but it's still a 4v2 with so much time and so much map control for that attacking side. It's going to force these Penta defenders to make these kind of hero plays, make these aggressive swings to try and bring that body advantage in their favor. That's what Karma goes for, but in doing so, he looks away from the breach. Kate gets a freebie, and now he's starting to put that plant down. Meanwhile, Tada's on the cover, shuts down that final Penta defender, and it's just a burst of aggression from Team Black there that was completely unresponded from by the side of Penta.
Yeah, Penta really struggling here at the moment. It's already 5-2 score, so they're currently 3 points behind. If we look at the scoreboard, I mean, there's nothing too out of ordinary except Tyro really to look at the moment. I believe he's been mostly playing as a fragging operator on the attacking side when they were attacking and not getting a single kill. That isn't looking too good. So Tyro clearly not having his day. Luckily, the rest of the team is still doing well in terms of frags, but it's just not good enough. Like, especially like if we look back at the previous round, so many Penta members losing their life in such a short amount of time. Like 3 people losing their life. I believe it was just in 5 seconds or so. That's just not a good thing. From the moment there was only 2 defenders remaining, which were both playing on side. And I'm playing in a 5 versus 2. That just isn't ideal. Tournament easily being able to open up those walls to make it even more difficult to play on side. And basically from that moment, the round was already practically lost. And there was not much chance to still win. Of course, it's never impossible. But that's something the Penta really need to start looking to how they can improve this, how they can avoid these kind of situations. Because it's something they cannot really afford at this moment. It's a 5-2. If Black wins one more, it's a 6-2. They will be on match point. And that's a difficult one to get back from.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyro 007 at the moment, not having a great game at all, but he's still in those fragging operators. So if he dies again without getting a pick, he's essentially sort of wasted his life, wasted a spot on that team in that round because of his choice of operator. I understand strats are pre-made, you can't really change them on the fly. If one person changes operator, another person will have to, but Tyro on that roam, when it's just not been his day, is something I don't necessarily agree with here. That being said, he's still going to give it his all. He's on the Oryx, a real nuisance with his mobility. And they've got Tim as well on that Azami, holding down this area, not giving the attack any inlet into the building. So this time wasting is going to be something they need to rely on. But Team Black runs this perfectly. They've brought that Flores, the Flores drone, essentially the only real hard counter to the Azami with the amount of destruction he can bring. Tim, he's now out of barricades. He has to fall back a bit. Legoman as well gets a pick. Tyro finally, James Bond meets the board. He gets 1. He's still up there, still providing this constant pressure onto the attack on that top floor. He can get away easily with that Oryx dash. That being said, I think he's going to want to sort of bunker down now while the attack are sort of still stalled here. They've lost that man advantage they initially gained. And most importantly, they still haven't progressed. They've got the man advantage back. Kate gets 1 to Tim, but Tim's done his job. He's used those barriers, and now he just had to survive and waste time, and that's exactly what he did. Tyro now looking like he wants to retreat back. Kate gets down by a nitro from Ina, and suddenly, Penta finally playing this sort of defensive side like you'd want to, getting this pick, playing for time, stalling, just being a nuisance to the attack.
Yeah, it's certainly going much better for Penta, even though Karma is currently the only one on side. It's kind of a weakness in their defense, but one thing is certainly an improvement is that they're lasting much longer. They lost so many lives early on in the previous round, and the fact that still 3 of them are alive in the 4 versus 3 is a good thing. Still, there's a lot of work to be done because they're still in a disadvantage in terms of man counts. There's still a Heartbreacher available. So there's still plenty of opportunity here for the attacking team to still make things work. 45 seconds, which can really work in their advantage. But as IQ is being injured, likely to still be revived as she's in a fairly safe position, even though Oza Shield coming out to assist the revive here. Things are looking a bit more plausible for the defending team here.
Yeah, and they've finally got that breach into sight. They've got that strong inlet from the Thermite. Karma, I'm not sure if he saw him on his screen, but he gets shut down by Madrina. But Tero, it's that late flank you were talking about. He could end this attack right here, right now. Ina just has to survive. Tero should get one pick, but he misses his shots and tatters. It's a fantastic recovery from the side of Team Black there. Off the back of a weakness that really should never have been there. They let that flank get to them. They lose a life there that should have realistically been more potent than it was. Tero whiffing his shots in the crucial moment. But we're starting to see these glimmers of hope for Penta. They played that round much better. They didn't sacrifice so many lives early on for nothing. They played the clock well. They got their picks. Tero, I was sort of criticizing his pick of the Oryx, but he stayed alive that entire round basically on that top floor. He didn't give Team Black, the comfort they wanted on that top floor because he was still there. He can still rotate very quickly on the operator, and it nearly worked out well for Penta. But at the end of the day, the guns from Team Black were just much better, and 6-2 up, it's looking like a repeat of that group stage match.
Yeah, we're just quickly pausing the game here again. Apparently the same similar issue that was taunting us in the beginning of the match. Apparently some ping issues here, but luckily I just received the word. The issue seems to be resolved again, so we can resume the match. But yeah, like we said, 6-2 score right now for Black. Penta 4 points behind on their opponents. It's really about time that Penta starts working in the round. I was kind of even expecting some kind of tactical timeout here from Penta. It might already be too late even. Maybe the 5-2 score mark was even a better moment to do so. But yeah, Penta, they're the 4 rounds behind and they really need to make it work, otherwise we're going to go to map 2 very soon. And that's something, of course, the Penta isn't really looking forward to. This is their map and they should be doing better, even though they didn't get to pick the side. They're now playing on the defense, and even there they're still struggling. They haven't been able to win a single round on the defense so far. And as we know how them deferred, it's really time for them to start winning those defenses. Because like I said, otherwise this map is going to be going over very soon for them. And it will then be Black taking the first map point.
Yeah, and Penta, they've abandoned that mute that they brought the previous 2 rounds. So Kamikaze right now is just unopposed. He can keep destroying these Azami barricades, keep destroying utility. And the only way they can stop that is by actually exposing themselves to the drone and shooting it. Penta, they can't jam it anymore. Sure, you can use those Mozzie pests, but those are single use. They destroy after they get used. The Meat Jammer is much more effective at dealing with that Flores that has made these attacks from Team Black so clinical, so fast, so easy. So it's going to be interesting to see if that those Frost gadgets provide a similar effect of stalling out this attack. I don't see it.
No, so far, really, Penta needs to find a way to be more successful on the defense, and I'm just very curious whether they will be able to. Just really need to find those opening picks and not be the opening picks instead. And as long as you just can stay alive long enough, which is starting well with the first up off Aina, taking out the first player, but Legoman unfortunately with the nade kill there on 10, bringing things back to 4 versus 4. That's the Azami versus the Osa. Both 2 very valuable operators you don't like losing early on, as they both have a lot of utility, which will be taken down to the grave. But still, at least it's a start, and as Aina gets a kill on Quake, it's another attacker taken out. It's a 3 versus 4 now, so things are certainly going much better for Penta for now, but it's not over yet. They still need to last a little bit longer. They still need to remain for 1 minute and 30 seconds and still take out more attackers to win this round. At least the start has been made.
Yeah, absolutely. Aina making me eat my words right now. He's getting insane value from this round. He's in another gunfight, but Karma gets another pick. That being said, Aina taken down by Madrino, but it's still a 2v3. The man count was in favor of the defense, but once again, Team Black are just winning these duels. Kamikaze gets another. Madrino on a lick of health, but they have these guns in their favor. And just like that, Kamikaze gets another pick. Madrino still on a dangerously low amount of health. Karma can win this, that very high rate of fire P10 he's got in his hands. But against 2 members of Team Black, and a Team Black that has looked unstoppable right now, I just don't see it. He's 1v2. The attackers can go for the plant, or they can choose to play for trades. Kamikaze goes down. It's all on Madrino now. 1 HP. He has to go for this gunfight, and Karma wins it. The 1v2 clutch with the P10. That health just being enough of a disadvantage to win that round for Penta.
Yeah, it's getting way too close for comfort. Penta just getting too aggressive towards the end, losing too many lives where they really shouldn't. Still managing to win the round, just barely, but at least it's one more point for them. So at least they have been able to close the gap a little bit more. Still 3 points behind their opponent, and for the upcoming 3 rounds, their opponent will still remain to be on match points. So they still need to win the upcoming 3 rounds to be able to work things around in the overtime. But it's a start. But I can't really say that the previous round was so much of an improvement, really.
Yeah, you can only win so many rounds off the back of an opening kill with a frost map. You know, Team Black are going to be expecting that now. They're not going to let their key player, that ESA, die to that so early on. We're going to need to see the rest of Penta really waking up in terms of these gunfights. Tiro, again, I don't want to harp on the player, but 2 and 9 sticking this Oryx. He's had one good round with that operator, just not finding any value on the attack or any of these other defensive rounds. You maybe just want him to swap onto something that provides more value to that defense. Something like a smoke, something like a mute even. Just get that utility down, and it just provides such a big advantage for your team rather than playing these selfish gunfight operators that just haven't been working out for Penta. We're going to still see that Frost, however, so maybe we'll see Black fall for it again, but I just don't see it. Right now, that Frost really just provides a decent low recoil gun, a secondary shotgun for rotates, and a shield. Those Frost mats out of the equation at this point in time. They've got that cheesy opening pick onto Team Black that last round. They can't rely on it again. They're going to have to change their strategy a bit because those picks just don't come that often.
Oh, is it the drone?
Runner?
No, the drone!
Wow! Air again making me eat my words! He's still winning these gunfights! He's still getting these kills!
Yeah, it's insane. Like, even something we saw back on Monday as well. Like, just those drones are the ones you're not expecting, especially the ones facing outside. You just don't expect to be taken out as an attacker like that. So that's a great, very creative kill there from ENA. Just working things out towards their favor just very early on. And this could really very much help Penta to win another round and one to their point count, to potentially bring things eventually to an equal score and bring this map to overtime. Still 3 rounds to go before we reach that point, but at least another start has been made. But let's see whether they will be able to continue their advantage. And unfortunately, they're not, as Magdalena gets a kill there on Karma. That's the Mozzie taking off the board. It's a 4 versus 4 situation right now. Penta lost the advantage, but it's still an equal man count. We can still go anywhere from here, but we just need to be very careful and very smart about the plays.
Attackers from Team Black really crowding around this defender in the bunks. That being said, Tiro again, he gets that pick from behind. He's here to support Risk, and now they've got this 3 versus 2 advantage on this side of the map. 4v2 on the round. 2v3, 1v3 as Kate goes down. Kamikaze left alone. There's defenders each in every direction, and Tim, he cleans up. Penta, they're still in it.
They're certainly still in it, and I'm not even sure whether Black was aware on how difficult of a situation they were in. They were mostly trying to approach from the cafeteria or arcade window area. And there were just so many Penta members on each side. There was one on top of yellow stairs, there was one on the hallway or kind of in daycare, there was one on upper arcade on the arcade stairs. Basically any direction Black could be entering from was being watched, and there were so many refrag capabilities on the side of Penta because of the way they positioned themselves. Very, very smart and intelligent defense there, which really showed some really good teamwork, and I believe really this helped Penta to win this round right there. So at least Penta winning one more round, bringing things to 6 versus 4, closing the gap even further. 2-point difference, 2 rounds to go to bring things to a potential 6-6 and bring the map to an overtime. So Penta is certainly working on the comeback. The defense is finally starting to work in their favor. They're currently on a 2-round win streak. The question is, will they be able to add a 3rd or even a 4th?
Yeah, absolutely, and the thing that's really struck me about these defensive rounds is Tim on that Azami. Similar to his pick of the Osa on attack, he's not getting that many kills, but the utility is doing so much. That round specifically, the mere presence of the Azami in cache completely scared away the side of Black from even touching that side of the map. Forced them to funnel through Cafe, and they were slaughtered. So we're seeing this utility really being well used by Penta. They're really still managing to set the pace of these rounds, tell the attack, okay, you're going to come through this way because you're just too scared to face us in these powerful positions. And then, as you said, the positioning, they read into that and they expertly rotate around to Cafe. As I say that, The guns of Aya again, another opening pick, takes out Lego Man, that second to top performer on the side of Team Black. He's finally found his footing. He's getting these picks. He's been so impactful in these defenses, and it's looking to continue going on into round 11.
Yeah, PENTA finally being up to working ground. Those opening kills are finally happening from their side and not towards their side, which is really major improvement. So many times they lost the first player very early on and weren't able to capitalize on those. And luckily, things are getting much better. Ada, meanwhile, getting another kill on Magicino. That's another member of Black taken out. Impact being thrown out from Tim, potentially hitting the OSA shield. Not the OSA shields miraculously staying intact, but still at least doing a bit of damage on Tethers and Quake, which is going to further assist future gunfights. 3 versus 5 in the advantage of PENTA, with still 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining.
Yeah, this has just simply not been a good attack from Team Black. That being said, Kamikaze, he gets a pick onto Karma. Karma may be being a little bit too over-aggressive, still staying relatively far from sight alone when he doesn't need to. They've got those first 2 picks. Man advantages firmly in PENTA's favor. That being said, still a bit of damage onto Kamikaze. These numbers add up by the end of the round. But Black, they've just not got good enough map control at the moment. We've still got Risk on the Vigil above. They still haven't found a way into sight yet. They're still trying to clear out these roamers, and Tiro, he claims another one on this Oryx. He's finally feeling himself on this roam. He's getting picks. We're seeing all the members of PENTA, they've really had this glow up between sides. It was a rough start to their defenses, but they found their confidence. They're sticking with these positions. They're not falling away that early. That being said, that is Risk's demise. He doesn't check the yellow stairs. He gets over aggressive, likely based on intel from his teammates, but he gets picked off, and the Tiro as well. These defenders from PENTA don't need to be this far away from sight. There's 40 seconds left. There's no way in other than a hatch drop for the attack. You could have just played on sight, played for trades there, but now you've let that man advantage slip away. So these last 2 defenders from PENTA are going to really have to step up.
Yeah, and especially with still also having some of those EMP nades, there's nothing placed to deny the breach here, but still, even if there were, also would have brought those. Thermite breaching the wall, but still hopping in just directly without any sort of intel. Tim waiting for them, getting a first, getting a second, and taking out both of the 2 remaining Black members, adding another round to the board of PENTA. 3 rounds in a row, a 6-5 score right here, and just 1 point away on the side of PENTA to deny that match point on the side of Black and bring things to overtime with a 6-6 score. This is the potential final round. Like, if Black still wins, it will still be over with a 7-5 score. But if PENTA wins, we'll be going to overtime, where the match then will be extended with a maximum of 3 rounds. And then it's just a question which team manages to win 2 out of those.
If PENTA win this round, sure, they might have only brought it to overtime, but when you look at the mental impact of going 6-2 up and losing 4 in a row, that puts PENTA in such a good position going into overtime. They might not have officially won it, but they may as well, unless Team Black really make a solid recovery on these attacks. Because right now, they've just not looked like the same team that won those 4 rounds in a row, going from their defenses onto the attack. They're losing these gunfights, they're losing these opening picks specifically. They're not playing for intel. We saw that Thermite just blindly running in, not even bothering to check the corner. We're just seeing the team maybe got a little bit too comfortable with that 6-2 scoreline, maybe stopped paying that respect to PENTA, and PENTA have snapped up the opportunity. They're playing aggressively right now. They know that they can win these fights. They know that Black aren't going to check these sort of off angles that the PENTA players are positioned on, and that's allowed them to win these 3 rounds in a row, like you've said.
Yeah, currently Ena playing in a very dangerous position here on the cash stash door towards the balcony. Just watching the camera, just slightly standing inside of the open door, just waiting for any attacker to expose himself. Of course, he will see the rope appear as a player starts to go for the rappel. He just needs to watch the rope, waiting for one of the attackers to expose the head. Unfortunately, he did get drones, falls off. At least he did get one of those drones off the board for the attacking team, which is still a slight win, but unfortunately not the kill he was hoping for.
That leaves us still 5 versus 5, almost a minute expanded. Both these teams don't want to lose this round. Obviously, Team Black win, they win the map outright. If PENTA win, Team Black are sent spiraling into overtime, a position that does not look too favorable. So we're seeing these teams play it incredibly cautiously. Not a single point of damage on either of the health bar of any of the health bars of these 2 teams. The defense, however, still playing very aggressive on this top floor. They don't want to give it up, despite how sort of calm this round seems. They don't want to give up any. That being said, of course, it is a top 4 defense, but they're playing very aggressively on this waiting room. They don't want the attack to get in there. They don't want to give initiation or offense up. They want to make the attack really work for this map control, because that is the only way you can stall out a Team Black that has still looked pretty good in their gunfights. You just need to make it so they can't get those gunfights. Finally, some damage is taken by the side of Penta, but still no deaths. And we're entering that second half of the round. Tatters, he opens up the round for the attack. He gets 2 on that arcade stairs. He hit top arcade control is his, and he even has an inlet into the bomb site. It's going to have to be a semi-retake, and Tatters gets a 3rd. Lego Man doubles up. It looked to be going bad for Team Black, but a Tiro in a 1v4 can't win it. Madrino, he wins a map that should have been won long ago, and the effects of this win and that those rounds won by Penta might still bleed into the next map. But Team Black, they can say confidently they've won Penta's map pick, and now they're on their home turf of Oregon.
Yeah, basically that final round, just such a well comeback from Black, just so aggressively not giving any opportunity there. Tether just getting that triple kill, quad kill in the triple kill, I believe it was, and just fighting back, not having any of it. Like, I don't want to go to overtime. I'm just gonna prevent this whatever at all costs, and just getting those kills really helped Team Black in this case to deny the point for Penta to deny the overtime and to still win this match of this map with a 7-5 score. So very interesting first map, a very close one in as well, even though it's really seemed to be one-sided towards the first half of the map, as Black went into the rolls up with a 4-2 score and then continued to win all the way up to a 6-2 score. But luckily Penta still being able to fight back a little bit, but just not good enough to win the map.
Yeah, and that there's sort of the fact that map was so close, it's gonna have lasting effects on this series. Team Black, they came into that so confident. They won those 6 rounds just sort of effortlessly, but then it really began to spiral downhill for them, and they must be really thanking their lucky stars that it didn't go to overtime, because it would have surely been a Penta map with the momentum that team had built. But it comes off the back of a hero play. You saw that Twitch go up arcade stairs, get that beautiful triple kill. Just doesn't just open up the round, it just frankly wins it for the side of Team Black.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's just one of those ways, like, you can really impact around so much. And like a Black, there was still a little bit of room to make such kind of aggressive plays, to kind of take the risk. Where Penta, of course, like, they couldn't afford to lose any rounds, and they have been playing much safer for the past rounds, which really allowed them to stay alive longer. But then such an aggressive Twitch, that was something they just weren't prepared for, and that Twitch really helped to work things around for the final round. So 7-5 score there in advantage of Black, winning the first map. The map picked by Penta, 7-5 on Team Park. The next map, Oregon. Oregon is the next map that we're going to be seeing. It's a map, of course, picked by Team Black, where Penta did get the side. The starting side, I believe, on Oregon is going to be Penta on the defense. So that could hopefully help them a little bit. Oregon is still also a bit defensive sided, so technically this could help Penta. We just got to see, like, even for this second half of the map, for second half of the map team, even the defense there didn't really help Penta enough to bring things to the overtime. So it will just be a question that will be answered throughout the map.
Yeah, absolutely. Team Black, they win Penta's map pick. Next is Oregon, their own. They're not going to start on that favored attacking, on that favored defending side, but do they really need it? We're going to throw to a quick break, but you don't want to miss this series.
No, certainly not. So in about 5 minutes, we're going to be back with the second map, which is going to be Oregon. So just grab a drink, grab a snack, go to the toilet, and we'll see each other very soon. Bye-bye. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Hello, we're back here with the second map for today, Oregon. It's still me, Bozamax, and Pubble. And welcome back, everyone. We just had a beautiful first map for today. Team Park, 7-5 score. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is really the chance for PENTA to come back. They will be starting on the defense, which is hopefully going to help them a little bit here. Of course, they need it because their opponent already scored the first map point, as you can see above me. And just one more to go, and they will win this map. And it will be bye-bye PENTA, and Black proceeding to the next round, where I believe it was, did I say it was a Nightwolf? Did I say that correctly? Am I thinking that correctly? Let me just quickly bring up the bracket here. Yeah, Nightwolf. Yeah, Nightwolf. So the winner of this match will go to the next round of the lower bracket, which is Nightwolf, where Nightwolf is already waiting for them. And the other one will be going home. So neither of these teams won that, but Black currently being in a very good position to not make that happen, as they already got that first map points. Well, currently the players are ready, so we're actually good to go for the second map of today. Potential last map, but let us hope so. I really would like to see the third map, which is going to be Villa. But first, Oregon. Let's just jump straight into the action here. So yeah, as we're seeing the map beautifully load in, it's Uncooked usually would like to say that this is actually one of the real life locations or based on a real life event. It's in the USA. It's not in the state of Oregon, but it is in a real life location where once like a big, how do you say it? Like a big heist happened or something, or was like a criminal organization holding up in such a. Oh, you don't know? Yeah, I'm just quickly. Oh, I'm just quite quickly. Yeah, I'm just trying to rethink what he always says. Like, I believe he says like it's one where like one big criminal heist happened, where like actual like police army units, SWAT units just needed to come in to actually clear the building of all the criminals, and it's kind of based on the real life location. It's like a real event that once happened. So very cool. But enough about Oregon as a map. It's more about these two teams playing on Oregon, and as the operator bands are actually coming in, the first two are first operator bands have come in, which is both attackers. One of them being Nuck, not too surprising. Like we said in the previous map, is one of the attacking operators that has been banned the most. Really, this is followed by Ying, which is not being banned as often, but still has been banned a decent amount of times, and is a very strong operator, which we did see previous maps as well.
Apologies, I put him muted on stream the whole time.
Why? Yikes.
But okay, anyway, I was just doing a great bit of analyst work, and we're on these defensive bans now. We're seeing that Azami get taken out, which is something that was a real thorn in the side of those attacks on Theme Park. We saw these defensive positions being held incredibly strongly. You know, the Azami barricades. None of these attacking sides could really figure out how to get around it. It was played rather late by Team Black, only being introduced in their final defensive round, but it really helped them win that quite dominantly. And Oregon is arguably more of a map that favors being sort of locked down on these strong positions. So it's not a surprise that we saw Team Black choose to get rid of that Azami. PENTA certainly seems to be better at it than them on that site, on that map of Theme Park. So it was quite obvious that ban was coming. You'd hope they'd identified that as a problem. But Malisi being banned is quite interesting because that's an operator that has just fallen out of meta recently. We saw that speed change hit her hard because she can't roam effectively as a 3 health anymore, or 1 speed. She just makes too much noise, she's too slow. It takes a long time to get from one side of the map to the other. Nevertheless, PENTA, they've clearly identified a problem with their attacking strategies on this map that involves Malisi, so they don't want to deal with it. They just get rid of her early. Of course, that leaves the Solace, the Mirror, the Valk, these very highly banned operators still in the mix, and we're going to be seeing Mirror being brought right now. We're seeing Tim bring that on this basement defense. Very good at locking off angles. We see one in pocket, so it's likely that PENTA are going to wait for the attack to sort of make the first move. That being said, no, Tim, he just puts that Mirror down straight away. He wants vision onto Freezer. He's gotten both of them deployed, one on that E-box hold, one onto Freezer. So, once again, this is looking like a defense, sorry, that just wants to waste time. They've got the smoke, they've got the meat, they've got the Mozzie, they've got that Mirror this time, a luxury they couldn't use last map. So, although they aren't roaming, and again, Team Black don't know this, we're seeing Lego Man just give a little bit of attention to that top floor. Not too sure if it's clear yet. They're going to need to drone that out first. They're just hoping that Team Black waste a bit of time, don't coy onto their strategy, and then come back to site. And then they have to attack this really heavily fortified, heavy bunker setup.
Yeah, I believe all these holes and rotation that have been made on the upper floors is really distracting the attacking team, really making them believe that there's someone like on the roam somewhere. Because of this, already 1 minute and 10 seconds or even 15 seconds right now have expired, which is already a decent amount of time. And so far, the attackers haven't really accomplished too much yet. Yes, they've made a proper entry. Yes, they are inside of the building. And just the first bit of headshots that are being opened right now. But when it's only 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining, I think the defenders have done a decent job already on wasting some time. And the fact that every single defender is full HP and still alive, waiting for them downstairs, is going to make it very difficult for the attackers to get a proper entry. Because, like, yes, they now have created some new entryways by opening those hatches, and they can relocate themselves to one of the stairways they want to go down from. But there's just so much firepower waiting from them down at those positions, which is going to make it very difficult for them to actually get a proper entry here.
That being said, last minute, they're going to have to take these gunfights now. Madrino, he's encroaching on this white stairs position against this PENTA player on that mute. And these shotguns, one on either staircase, are going to be so difficult for Team Black to get past. They don't even want to approach that white stairs position anymore. We see Madrino go for that rotate towards Laundry, and finally a bit of pressure being put onto Bunker. 40 seconds remaining though, and Tiro gets that first pick on the hatch drop from Legoman. It's looking to be a defensive favored round here with only 35 seconds remaining and still no real control on that ground, on that basement. Karma reinforces the elbow position. He doesn't want to give away his life. Tiro, a third from Tiro, really shutting down this Team Black attack. Make that a fourth. He's on for the ace. Only Kamikaze stands in his way, but he denies that ace, but still a 1v3. Surely a Penta round. Kamikaze gets a second, though, onto the Freezer player. This is still doable, but with 8 seconds left, he's going to have to get a miracle. Tim, a little bit over-aggressive here, but it doesn't matter. The clock runs out, and Tim strikes him down. A good defense from the side of Penta here, really playing into that bunker, and it worked well.
What an explosive first round. Like, if any of these players kind of fell asleep during the break, they surely have been woken up right now. Such an aggressive round from both of these two teams. Certainly also Tiro doing much better compared to the first map of today, where he, for quite a bit of time, he wasn't 0 kills. But today he is not having any of that. He's just improving so much. He's currently already on 4 kills right now, which is a very good improvement. So yeah, that's the first round going to the side of Penta. The defense won by their side, putting the score on 0-1, which is now heading to the second bomb site for today, which is going to be on the top floor, which is Get Dorm's main hall.
Yeah, and we're seeing a sort of similar lineup. Penta have really liked this Mute Mozzie combo, a combo we've seen a lot in ESA. These teams want to waste the time of the attack. They don't want to maybe waste that by throwing bodies at it, but rather just making this droning phase from the attack take much longer. It forces them to invest some form of utility to get this information. And information is the most important thing in a round of Siege, because this is one-shot headshot. It's so hard to go in these pre-watched angles without a little bit of information on the side of the attack. So the drones are the most important part of utility for the attack, and if these two operators are being used to hinder that drone progression, then it sets up the defense for a much better execute, because the attack just don't have the time to clear out the map and get onto site and plant the diffuser or get all the kills that they would if they could just drone it unopposed. That being said, a very early gunfight, a cutoff onto white stairs, leaves Karma trapped essentially on small tower, being watched by Kamikaze. He 2 on the round last time. It was a very good attempt that brought it to a 1v2, but he couldn't get it done. This time, it's looking to be a different story, as this map control very early tatters into Master. He's essentially locked down Armory stairs. Tiro has this mortar drone he can use for intel, but this drone from Cake should prove, yep, it's clear. They can go for this very early ingress approach onto site. They get the ace charge on the closet wall early, and with still 2 minutes left to find any picks off site or just go for the execute, this is Black in a much better situation than that first round.
It's totally a much better position. 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining. They have already opened up the wall. They already have control over Armory Corridor, almost into Trophy as well. Already can put a decent amount of pressure onto the bomb side. But as Enig gets the first kill on Kamikaze, sorry, excuse me. He gets the first kill. That's the Thatcher of the Thatcher of the board. That's the first attacker down. There's still 4 versus 5 position, and the main job of Thatcher has been done so far. But still, with the attack already having so much control, they can still put loads of pressure on the defensive side, making it very difficult for them to defend this bomb site. Also, IQ being brought along, getting quite a bit of information, even some a defender on the drone being spotted out. Legoman capitalizing on that by taking him out with a nade. That's risk taken off the board, leading us to a 4 versus 4 situation.
Madrino almost finds another onto, I believe it was the Wamai of Karma. He just saw the picks of the head, but misses it. Tiro gets a Nitro kill into the planter, and now bodies are falling in the favor of PENTA. Another 1v4, Tatters this time. And just a total collapse from those defenders onto these attackers really shuts down a round that was looking much better from Black. It didn't matter that Black got that early map control, because when it came to the execute, PENTA were just too good. They were shutting them down, they were getting those crucial picks onto that planter, and it just left Black completely lost on that attack.
Yeah, apparently there's again some technical issues here on the side of PENTA, I believe this time with the ping bug. So let me just quickly check if everything is fine, because on my side it seems to be fine.
Yeah, I guess a technical timeout like this is really something Team Black need here, because these 2 attacks have been vastly different, one of them being a much sort of slower paced attack than the other, but when it came down to the execute, the result was the same. PENTA were just winning their gunfights, they were cutting down these attackers, and it just paints a bad story for Black, because Oregon, it's not really as strat heavy as a map like Theme Park, you'd say. It is more based on just these isolated engagements that really is the thing that wins these rounds rather than straight setups. And if Team Black are losing these gunfights, then it doesn't look like it's going to be a map win. It's very early to make these sort of sweeping conclusions like that, but it's such a crucial part of your Oregon sort of play style, is winning these gunfights. But
yeah, the start is really there. Oh, sorry?
Black have just sort of seemed lost, is what I'm saying. They just they're not with it. It's not. This doesn't seem like the same team that was just cutting them down, was just almost farming the players of PENTA throughout that theme park round.
Yeah, the start is really being made there by PENTA. It's exactly what they need, of course, because they're down 1 map point, while the opponent already has the first one. So really, PENTA who really needs the win here in order to still have a chance to win this map. So for them, it's really good news. This time, for the first time, we're actually seeing Maverick being brought along as secondary Harbage, which is going to be very useful. It's something I already expected to see the previous round, as he's often brought around to take control over the attic area. But for now, we'll finally see him. It's certainly going to help them to open some walls to deal with those bandit charges. We're going to make it very difficult to open those walls, and also the nades that are available could potentially deal with any of those castle barricades.
Tatters gets an opening, however, onto Tiro. This is the first opening pick I believe we've seen from Team Black here. They're finally finding their footing, and another pick nearly onto that high-impact Echo. He's still got a drone in pocket. He can't really afford to go for these engagements, because that's utility that has ultimately been wasted in the round. He's opting to hold this kind of picks angle, misses the feet of Tatters, who has now got that castle barricade open, and what looked to be a very sturdy, fortified position from the defense has been cut apart. They've got that Maverick hold to play with. That castle barricade has been torn down. They have these lines of sight that can cut off these rotates from the defense, and it's just looking like a much better situation for the attack here. They've got map control, they've got an opening pick. These are things that eluded them in those previous rounds, and now all we can hope is that they can turn this into a solid execute. That being said, Tatters nearly taken down by Urnia, a high-impact player from that first round. Not exactly blown us away this map, but, you know, 2-0 up, when the rest of the guns of PENTA are firing on all cylinders, you can't expect everyone to be just the star player. Legoman, however, doubles down on that high-impact first kill, gets a nade kill, and that has really signaled that the execute is coming in now. He gets another onto Tim, traded by Karma, but 2v4, Osa in the site, no Nitro to stop this. They still have to be wary of that hatch, but an execute can really come through now.
Yeah, but exactly the right timing is actually A&M going for a perfect rotation, hopping back towards that hedge, getting a double kill both Tether and Quake, potentially adding a third as he now finishes Kamikaze, also only leaving Madrino left in this 1 versus 2 position. No diffuser in hand, so a very difficult position for the OZ to be in, and things just seem to be falling apart again for Black. They were in such a good position, but just that the castle left alive on the top floor is just being so dangerous, and it's really punishing them for that decision. In the end, it's Madrido getting a kill on Karma, so League bringing things back to a 1 versus 1 situation. He picks up the diffuser, so he has the chance to go for a defuse, but Aina is very close. He has an ID where Madrido is playing. He's hopping in. He's going to find him, but as he goes to the diffuser, he might just go for the kill. The shield is helping the castle, but no! The timer runs out. No kill for either one of them, meaning the round will be won by the defensive side, as the diffuser was not planted. And that's another round win for Penta. So incredibly close. Black did get there, but unfortunately, they didn't get there quite well enough. And another round loss for them, the third in a row, putting the score on 0-3.
And that's a round that really slipped away from Team Black there. You can pin that to what looked to be some kind of communication issue. It seemed like all 4 members thought someone else was holding that top floor angle. They had a breach there. We saw that breach used by one of the members of Penta, but no one actually went to challenge Aina, who they knew was up there. He dealt some damage to Tatters, but just no one went to stop him from disrupting that plant. So although they had a very solid position for that plant behind the OSA shield, no one could stop that horizontally. They didn't pay enough attention to the vertical, and it was 2 picks that Aina really shouldn't have got, and that completely shut down the round for Team Black. It left them scrambling to try and regain that man advantage, try and get that diffuser down, and they just had too many sort of jobs they had to do after that play, which resulted in the round loss. It's unforgivable almost that he gets away with those 2 picks. But
yeah,
it's symptomatic of these greater problems from Team Black, where when it comes down to the execute, even they could be in as good a situation as they were, 2 versus or 4v2 even. It's just something's not clicking. They're always losing these rounds.
Yeah, as the round was proceeding, it seemed very worrying to me that they were just ignoring the top floor so much. Like, yes, they did open the wall, but they weren't focusing too much on it. Like, they were still allowing the players to take advantage of the top floor over the attic. And that is something that really caused them to lose the round in the end. So I really hope that Black is able to learn from this. That is getting very close to a kill right there. He was droning out, did find some information, was trying to benefit from himself, as there was no other player in the area to do so. And unfortunately, the defender did get away, not allowing him to get a kill here, but a nice attempt.
Yeah, you always go for an attempt like that, try and get a freebie through that barricade. It's one of those kills where, you know, Tiro dies that, he's not going to be happy, he's not got his utility down. You should certainly go for it. There's no real risk towards it, but Tiro, he knows better. He realizes it's a bit too late in the round to be putting a Frostmat like that down, so he gets away once he hears the gunfire. That being said, though, it's another bunker defense from Penta, but it's been Reddington much better from Team Black. They're wasting not nearly as much time as round 1 on a sort of a fake roam clear of nothing. They've got these hatches open and they can start to formulate their execute with half the round remaining, which is a much better pace than the previous round.
It certainly is. They still leave them 1 minute and 30 seconds to actually put some pressure. The hatches are open or are still being opened. They can now really relocate themselves to the position they need to be in. Likely someone's going to go from bunker again, like previous times, but also from one of the stairs. But again, the shot this player are just waiting there. And as I'm talking about it, it's Aina getting the first kill on Terrors. That's a Sledge off the boards. A very unfortunate loss. Yes, Sledge potentially did already do most of his job, but as far as there is a job for him, but still, it's a very unfortunate loss. It's 1 member less to be playing with, and it's, again, it's a 1 that is certainly going to ease the defense here of Penta here, and then 1 less person to worry about. But luckily, Madrino going for a kill there on Karma, taking out of a mine, will potentially take some of the disc down towards the grave. But then another shot, second, or almost a second. Tim with a kill on Quake, Madrino with a kill on Risk, and Tyro, both Tyro with the final 2 kills, bringing this round to another defensive team, Penta, putting the score on 0-4.
I'm sort of lost for words there. They had a pretty good advantage going into that. 5v5, they had half the rounds to formulate and execute like that. Plenty of time to drone things, to get other walls open, to force the defense out of their positioning. Instead, Team Black forgo all that, and they just start running into staircases, dropping hatches, and they're cut down by Penta again.
Attackers need to
This is the
locate and
fourth
defuse bombs.
just not convincing round in a row, really. That last round looked to be good, but from a critical oversight led to just a total fumble. But I've yet to see a really good close round from Team Black on this map. This does not look like the same team that won Penta's map pick. This is Team Black's map pick. They should be good at attacking on Oregon, even if it's not necessarily the favored site. Although Oregon, one of those maps that does sway 50-50, you would expect them to play better than this. But from all parts of their attacks seem off. Especially these executes. They're rushing them. They're not paying their due diligence. They're not dotting their I's, crossing their T's. They're just going in, hoping that they can show that sort of mechanical prowess we saw in Theme Park, and it's not working. We can hope they fix that, but from the looks of it, Tada's on Ash. We've got that Dakabi for a bit more intel, but there's just not really that much to clear these defenders out.
No, there certainly isn't. Like, bringing some of those defenders attackers would certainly help to get further control. Like, so far, Black is doing well and getting the first bit of control, but like, they're just losing people early on. And once they finally got enough control, they just don't really get the proper way to actually work with it. Things are starting out a bit better though for Team Black, as Lego and Tethers both get a kill. That's Karma and Tim taking off the board, the Mute and the Warden. Warden and Operator could be kind of important later on, especially towards the executes. But Starna gets a kill on Tether and Aina gets a kill on Kamikaze. Things are back to an equal 3 versus 3, where it's basically the Dokkaebi traded for the Warden and the Ash traded for the Mutes. But as another one falls on the side of Penta, Mandarino gets a kill on Tyro. That's also the Mozzie gun, bringing things to 3 versus 2, but in the first minute.
Yeah, 5 very quick kills in the first 60 seconds of the round. We're seeing a fast pace from Team Black, and it is working. They're 3v2 up. Risk on a very low amount of HP. It's essentially another body down on the side of Penta here. And they've still got these nades to potentially confirm these kills, but Legoman seems to be lacking a bit of intel, goes for a blind nade. Madrino on this double window can't really find as much value with the nades as he could below, but it looks like Team Black are just going to go for a double window jump in, and this is risky. That is a hard gunfight to win on the side of the attacker going through that double window, and quite wisely it seems like once again they're rotating back. The good part of this quick pace that they've set for themselves is they have the time to choose where to go on this attack. They have the time to rotate if need be, and it looks like Madrino has rotated over to Master Bedroom, but a camera, likely a Valcam, sees his approach, and just like that, Aina, he's got that position on lock.
Yeah, the attackers still have some opportunities here because they have still Sledge with one of his nades available and Ace with one of his hard-breaching utility. So if they were able to deal with those mute jammers, they could potentially open a wall. But as Aina gets a kill on Mandarino, that's one less player on the side of the attack. It's a 2 versus 2 situation right now. The wall was opened already before. The attackers can benefit from that, but they need to be very careful because the timer is now hitting the 35-second mark. Time is therefore running out, and as the timer nears that 0 mark, they need to be very careful and need to get the defusal down or kill the 2 remaining defenders if they still want to win this round. Ace is making his way inside his bomb site and does find the Jaeger, does do a bit of damage, but no, it's Aina with the kill, leaving Legoman all alone in this 1 versus 2. He gets a bit of damage, done to himself. It's fairly low, and it's Aina that finds the final bit of damage there on Legoman. He takes him out, and that's another round win for Penta. Again, it seemed to get so close for Black, but yet again, they cannot finish this round off in their advantage. And yeah, just Penta keeps benefiting from this. It's 0-5 score in their advantage, and almost a perfect half so far.
Yeah, and from the looks of things, it seems like it might well be a perfect half. Team Black, again, we've been saying the same thing for the past 3 rounds. When it comes time to the execute, they have just fumbled the bag completely. They get over-aggressive when they don't need to. There's plenty of time remaining. They sacrifice that body advantage so early on. We saw Tadas go for quite a flashy play, trying to go for a wallbang up through a hatch, shut down by Tiro on the side of Penta with that Mozzie with the P10. High rate of fire allows him to just find the head of Tadas very quickly. As well, Aina, a huge player this map, a huge player last map, 9-1. He evened out that man count and doubled down on it with the help of the intel from those Valcans. We saw Penta were comfortable despite being a man down. They had the intel to cover all their entrances, and they just felt confident with their gun skill that, okay, we can hold these areas to get in. If we just hold one angle each, we have these dead teammates on these cameras, we can just win these gunfights. They're that confident. They know they can win those gunfights. They don't panic when they're a man down. They don't get too aggressive. When a lot of teams would see that they're in such a bad situation and try and even out that man count, Penta know that they are just simply better. They can hold these angles and they can win. So honestly, I'm a bit perplexed as to how Team Black can win an attacking round here. It's not like a simple analytical or strategical failure. They're getting these opening picks, they're getting them quickly, they're getting map control. It's everything you as a coach would say, okay, this is how we're approaching the site, this is what we need to do in a round. It's everything you'd want to see, but somehow they're losing in the executes. And I guess it just comes down to the gun skill. The Penta are just so much better in these gunfights. That's the only thing I can really think of, because these rounds should be going the way of Team Black. They should be, at the very least, 3-2 up here. And again, we're seeing a similar situation of an opening pick on the side of Team Black. Kamikaze this time, taking out the star player of Aina. He nearly pays with his life against Tiro on that flanks position, but now that position is exposed. Tiro can't really move away. It's just a game of cat and mouse, and they know they're looking at each other. Tiro, however, he gets the proning player out elsewhere. Tadez doubles down on that, and another player has taken the shield position, likely to die the same way. This is not an angle you can really win on the side of the attack. There's a smoke canister as well, I believe, on that wall. Smoke or a nitro cell to cover their exit if Tiro needs to leave. Lego Man in the middle of the breach cooking a nade. What is going on? Man advantage once again lost by the side of Team Black.
Yeah, things are certainly not going well for Black again. You would assume they kind of learned from the previous round when Penta was defending with actually the same kind of setup, so they should have been able to learn some of it. But so far, they're just again struggling with the same position. The big tower wall and the backstage wall. Those are the walls that you just cannot really penetrate. They can open it, but you just cannot get any further from that. They cannot make a proper entry into the bomb sites, and just it's the same mistake all over again. However, this time Madrino and Quake actually both with a kill, leaving Tim all alone in this 3 versus 1 situation. Things potentially seem to be possible for Black right here, as long as they are able to keep up with their advantage that they currently have. It's Tim playing in a smart position. He's currently playing at can easily fall back if need so, and gonna go for a very strong flank if you desire so. But in the end, it's Madrino with that final kill, finally breaking the win streak of Penta and finally earning that first point for Black. But the question is, isn't it too late?
5-1 down, going on to those defenses, it's certainly doable. Oregon, 50-50, but we've seen a lot of the time teams are just more confident on the defense. The enemy team has to come to you. You can sort of dictate the pace of that round, but only 2 attacking wins needed for Penta. If you think about it, one of those could just be a rush. You could just catch Team Black off guard one round with a rush, probably win that, and suddenly Team Black are facing a map point onto a map 3. And after such a dominant performance at the start of Theme Park, you don't want that to happen if you're on the side of Team Black, because that's going to really impact your mental, losing your own map pick in such a just weak fashion. That being said, the Siege is a game of 2 halves. We're on that second half now. Team Black on that defense. They're bringing the mirror. They're bringing the Solace. An operator that, despite such an impressive stat line, we didn't see at all, I believe, on the side of Penta. Despite Solace being this strong operator, Lego Man choosing to bring her, choosing to use her to waste this time. They're forgone a Mozzie this time. They're still bringing that mute. So the Solace is going to fill in that void to stop these drones from getting in, to slow down this clear. And we're seeing Lego Man on that ground floor immediately.
Yeah, so as an operator, we don't see that much in general, as she's been banned 55% of the time. She's currently the most banned operator in general, even. So that's one of the reasons we don't see her that much, and almost we don't get to see any more of her, as she was almost getting taken out. The crosshair was almost pointing directly at her head, but instead she's the one doing a bit of damage there on Aina, the Hibana. But in the end, she gets away with her life there, with quite a bit of a scare, which is still action and can still provide something for her team.
Solus maybe not finding as much value as you'd like. Only 3 drones taken off the board for the side of Penta. They still have plenty of intel, plenty of ways of getting information on site, plus those 2 Twitch drones. It's looking like a good attack from Penta so far. They have identified that it's a bunker, a 5-man sort of site hold, and they're not even attempting to clear that top floor like Black did on their first attacking round. They've read into this defense very well, and they can start banging on the doors with this immense amount of hard breach. They've got Ace, they've got Hibana, so many different little bits of hard breach they can utilize to break mirror windows, to open small lines of sight. It puts them in a very good situation here, as long as they win those gunfights. And gunfights are something that have caused Team Black a lot of problems on their executes. They must be hoping that Penta comes into a similar sort of unfortunate circumstance. A gunfight nearly goes the way of Madrino, but strangely enough, no damage on the side of Risk on that white stairs. Risk really getting away with his life there. Tiro as well. Those are 2 just slightly missed shotgun shots that could have spelled end for this attacking side.
And it certainly could. Me was also Tim trying to go from the other side of the map, trying to go from the backside, almost finding that smoke was being so annoying back there in Freezer. But he still gets away with his life right there. So the Techers are still trying to find a way in. They have found their way into the Freezer right now. So they're getting more and more control. Smoke using his last canister, which is fairly quickly, very early on. With still 50 seconds on the clock remaining. Smokers are very crucial towards the end of the rounds. Legoman would kill Tiro, Karma would kill Legoman. It's a 4 versus 4 situation where now Twitch finding a second, or at least injuring Madrino. He's still alive. He's not fully out yet, but as Karma gets another kill, Greg, it's very unlikely that Madrino gets revived in this 3 versus 4 situation. As he gets finished, it's Karma with his 3rd kill, and it's just now this 2 versus 3 where Kamikaze then takes out Karma and denies his kill streak and does not allow him to get any further.
However, known his position is known. He gets shut down 1v2 for Tatters on that mirror. He's not really found too much of a footing on this map. 6 and 5 is still positive, but it's far from the performance we saw from him on Theme Park. But he's playing this smart. He's running down the clock from Risk. Risk has to go for a gunfight, but he has a bad read. He lets time slip away from him. He could have stuck the diffuser, but heat of the moment, he thinks the mirror's pushing, and just like that, the round is won for Mirror. Beautiful patience from the side of that Mirror player, who I was just criticizing for a slightly poor performance this round, but that excellent game knowledge on just full display there, not peeking immediately, not running to that diffuser. Excellently played from the Mirror in that 1v2, and it gets Black their 2nd round.
Yeah, such a nail-biting moment when things come down to those final seconds, and where it's just kind of a cat of a mouse game, where it's either defusing or going for the kill, just trying to go for a bait, but in the end, the Mirror also reading that bait, just trying to stay away, going for a very smart rotation. So indeed, a very smart play from the Mirror there, adding another point out to Team Black. Still 2 versus 5 score, still 3 points behind on their opponents, and Penta still only 1 point away from potential match points. As we now head into the 2nd defensive round of Team Black, we're now heading towards the top floor, where they will go for another defense there against Team Penta. Penta again for going for another attack. The first attack almost went away, at least it was getting fairly close. They did pretty well, even though they didn't win the round in the end. And they now have a second chance to bring to add another point to the score and make it a potential 2-6 match point for them, or map point I should say.
We're seeing the Maestro being brought by Cake here. Maestro was once a sort of must-pick operator, but ever since the utility meta has just sort of died down, we don't see that operator much anymore. Perhaps it's the slow speed. He still has a very good gun, but most people, I guess, just prefer these fast gunners that Maestro just can't fill in that void. But the utility he provides is still very useful. We do see certain players gravitate towards that role, just personal preference more than anything. Dream on OXG in the NA League comes to mind, a very well-known Maestro player there. But it's kind of feast or famine operator. It can either make all the difference in the world with that sort of durable utility, that plant denial, or he could just be a sitting duck for nades. And this rise in this sort of vertical play we've seen has not been good for these Maestro plays. And that camera taken down as well. That's a big piece of utility lost immediately. That being said, though, Risk, early death, first minute pick for the side of the defense onto the sledge. That's 2 nades gone at most. A lot of soft destruction, but Tim, he responds back with that AK-12 through his own breach. He gets a pick onto the site, and the site is surprisingly opened up to so early in the round. Madrino still in this pit position. He can swing out if need be, but he sees the air jab go down. It might be jammed, but he can't really make that risk at this current moment in time. He can't give up that position because it's so strong for PENTA now. He still has that Nitro in pocket to disable the default plan. Tatters is well below. It's a very shaky round for the Team Black right now. The attack is right at their front door, and they're just playing these crossfires well. They've got trust in each other to hold these angles when PENTA seems so favored at the moment.
Yeah, PENTA is in a very strong position to make their first entry, and especially as Tim gets a kill down Tethers, it's getting much better for them. But Kamikaze with the kill on Tim. It's back to 3 versus 3, and they're just waiting to get the first entry, just making their way inside the bomb site and going for potential plants or to get some kills. They're just struggling. There's still smoke in play with still 2 smoke canisters. There's the Maestro with his turrets, still mostly intact as far as I believe. And that's just going to make it very difficult for the attacking team to make a proper entry. And as Madrino gets a kill on Aina, that's another attacker losing his life. Then it's also Quake with a kill on Karma. Tyro with a kill on Madrino. And it's now a 2 versus 1 situation. Tyro inside of the bomb site, trying to take out the Maestro cam, which continuously getting information on him. Gets the kill on the Maestro, but Kamikaze, right on the top of those white stairs, gets that final kill. And again, we're seeing a round go to Black. And I believe that's the 3rd round in a row right now for Black. Yes, Black is certainly working on that comeback. And it's now putting the score on 3-5, and it's only 2 points behind on their opponent.
Yeah, Black setting a bit of pace for themselves. Those 3 rounds in a row, that kind of snowballing effect we have seen could come into play, and we could very soon see this be a much closer game than it initially seemed like. Black very good in their defenses so far. They're playing the time well. They're playing the clock well. Their setups are strong. They aren't the most aggressive as we saw from PENTA, but they're still getting the job done. They're still stalling out the attackers, and they're getting these first picks and playing them well. We saw crossfires established. That meant that, sure, the attack can get these ingresses onto site, they can get these breaches, but they're just going into too many guns at once. They can't handle all that firepower from the defense, and it's got Team Black 2-round wins so far.
Yeah, with Black now winning 2 defensive rounds in a row, we will be needing to head to a 3rd bomb site, which is the same one as PENTA preferred to choose, which is the kitchen meeting bomb site. Again, I think we're going for kind of a similar setup here. Again, attic is being reinforced and the hatch is being opened. Same goes for the kitchen hatch. There's going to be some top floor presence most likely. And also Castle has been picked. Not a Castle barricade yet on that long hallway, kitchen hallway door. But as Castle is making his way towards that position, it seems to be going to be placed there. Which makes the situation kind of similar to what we saw from PENTA defenses. But it's just now to PENTA to go for the attack and Black to go for the defense here.
And we're seeing that Solace being used once again. It's a good operator to waste time. Solace, Castle, and Maestro, all 3 of them really hinder the approach of that attack. Those Maestro cams have to be destroyed if you want to go for an execute or risk getting constantly pinged out by the defense, giving them so much info on your planter, especially a person who can't defend himself in that situation. Solace is really good for these drone denials, but they're currently locked in the basement, the gridlock being used for flank denial. Madrino has to make some kind of audible noise to go for this flank. He chooses to go quite early. He could still play down there. He could still get more than enough use out of that gadget. Tatters on the other side of the map though gets good utility, gets rid of that Osa. I believe only 1 shield down, and Pit's still firmly in the control of defenders. There's another one in case Tatters goes down. They can play for trades here, and that man advantage once again on the side of Team Black.
And especially with the deployable shield that Tethers here has, he has a very strong position to just deny the attic area. And also Legoman is assisting him, getting another kill there on Karma. That's then the twitch of the board, another one less person to worry about for the defending team. And this is now 5 versus 3. The wall downstairs has been opened up, which does provide a bit more opportunity for the attacking team here, but still down two attackers, which is going to make things more difficult. But as Tim gets a kill on Kamikaze, things become a little bit more possible as the castle loses his life. But as I'm speaking, it's Tethers getting killed on Tyro. Another one from Tethers there on Tim, leaving Risk all alone in this 4 versus 1 position. Good luck. Versus 4 other players, getting a kill on Tethers. Still in a 3 versus 1, but making things a little bit more possible here.
Yeah, Risk in that 1 versus 3 against the Maestro, the Solace, the Alibi. These are 3 very strong operators. The Alibi especially is going to be a real thorn in the side of Risk, so he's not even going to attempt it. He's playing the time. He wants that time to talk it out because currently that lead is slipping away. granted that Risk doesn't win this round, which it doesn't seem very likely, they'll be 1 round ahead. PENTA, who came into this on a 5-1 half, might only be 1 round ahead, so they need to use this time to really iron out these flaws and not let it go to overtime. Because right now, like, winning doesn't even seem like the main priority here. They just need to just stop the bleeding. They are, if they're hemorrhaging as a team, PENTA here, they're losing these rounds that they should be finding success. It's Oregon. You've only got a Ying and Nook ban. You can still go for these fairly normal clears, but it's not working out. Risk, he does get an exit frag, but the moment he goes to that bunker position, you already knew that's a defensive round win. Good on Black for not overstepping, but 4-5, it's just not looking good for PENTA anymore.
It's certainly not looking great. PENTA just did technically somehow, like, sort of have like a tactical timeout as the player was just playing so passively, just waiting for the timer to run out. So hopefully PENTA did find a moment to just get the heads back together, just retalk the strategy, see and analyze what's going wrong, and hopefully work on plan. It could help them win another round, because it's currently a 4-5 score. If Black wins one more, it's a 5-5, and PENTA has lost advantage that they basically had since that first round, as they just won all the first 5 rounds in a row. And if Black wins another one, they also will be winning 5 in a row. And yeah, the 5-5 score is just not something that PENTA wants at this moment. They just still want to win those rounds, bring things to a 4-6 score, but just really need to make it happen soon. Because if they continue to lose, I don't think they will be regaining that momentum anytime soon.
Absolutely, and this is just a real anomaly of a map of Oregon here. There's no hard breach ban, so it should, in theory, be very easy for the attack to get onto site, to get these lines of sight, to cut off angles, but they're still losing when it comes to the execute. I guess both teams, defender favored, they just like these defensive operators. They gain their confidence on the defense. They're clearly very capable at winning gunfights on that side, but it's still, it goes against the trend. It's very out of the ordinary that we're seeing these rounds go this way.
It certainly is, and PENTA just really needs to find a way to do better right here. Like, they really need to win this round, because if they don't, like, this map could technically still go against them. They still could go to Black, and then they would lose this match. And they're just finding themselves, like, we're again in a very difficult situation. Like, they're so close to bringing things to 5-5, but at the same time, so close to bringing things to 4-6. Just really need to make it happen. Again, PENTA is fairly strong in getting control over the map and getting the first information to know where the defenders are playing, and benefiting from this to get very quick control. Aina already descending the freezer stairs, even though she's Sibana, and still needs to open some of those hatches and walls, and is carrying the diffuser, taking a bit of risk, but as she doesn't get any opportunity to get a kill there, she's just going back upstairs to just do the remainder of her work by opening those further hatches.
We see a bit of restructuring on the site there from Cake, picking up that shield and putting it down. They've identified this is likely going to be a freezer-focused push, so they're moving utility around. Obviously, they can't move those mirror windows once they're placed, but they can still provide other bulletproof utility to stop this push. And it's quite a good read here, because we see Tiro, he's holding down this freezer, trying to nade out the play of Lego Man, a significant amount of damage done. Could this be the opening that they need? This gunfight surely goes in the favor of Tiro. That being said, Nitro coming out from Lego Man, and elsewhere, Tada's taken down PENTA. They get this opening pick, but it's traded back by Madrino. Your hard breach down. The damage is already done. The hatches are open, but that's flashbangs gone. That's just another body gone. You can't afford to lose these man advantages. You can't afford to lose this round, because that's your advantage gone in the match. And suddenly, Black might well be back in the driving seat after this. It's again, I don't like repeating myself, but it's just simply not looking good for PENTA. They've made these same mistakes. They can't win these gunfights when it comes to the execute, similarly to Black on their attack. And now they've got 30 seconds to really push into sight, get 4 kills, or potentially get a plant down. Karma, he wants to get it done. He takes down Lego Man, but this position from Kamikaze in this closet is going to be very hard to dislodge. He can try and get a nasty pick through one of these angles. There's plenty of holes to go through, but he's missing all his shots. He can't see that player behind the OSA shield. 20 seconds left. 2 versus 4 on the side of the defense. Not much time to play with. Risk is getting that case down. Cake, 1v4. Is this the round win that PENTA can finally get, pushing them on the match point? Diffuser goes down. Cake downs Tiro in freezer. 1 versus 3, but he doesn't spot the player, and on the washing machine gets taken down. And PENTA, finally, after this absolute slugfest, they get to that map point.
Yeah, finally, Penta just denying the win streak that Black has been on. Four wins wasn't 4 wins going in a row to Black, and just not allowing to get that fifth, which Penta did have before. So right now we're in a fourth position. Penta being on that match point and finally finding a win after losing 4 in a row. Which now has put them on map point for this map right here. This could be the start of still being able to finally win and end this map for today, and bringing us to the third map. But at the same time, Black is just only 2 points behind, and it's just one round that they just lost. And are technically still a very good chance that Black will reassemble, will still be able to win further rounds, and potentially bring things to 6-6, which will bring this map to overtime. So we will be going back to the same bomb site that we just seen, back to the basement. Penta did successfully attack here, so that could spell some good news for Penta here, as they know what to do. They have experienced it before, and they have been able to make it work before. But still, things did get a little close, and especially in terms of time, Penta could still improve here on their attack.
Absolutely, and Penta, they really need to focus here on getting that quick map control. It's looking to be a slightly more roam-focused basement defense. We've seen Madrino and Legoman up there. They might just be attempting to get a very cheeky early pick. Another player on the defense, Tadas that is, going to Garage. This early aggression might not be expected from Penta, as currently Black have only gone for these very standard bunker defenses, and that's exactly what happens. Karma taken down by Tadas. Madrino in a bit of a pickle here, but he seems to have gotten away relatively freely. What these defenders really need to focus on now is getting back into a more safe position, because Madrino, he's out in the open in this dining room, and he's going to get flanked from behind, but it isn't even necessary. Tim, a beautiful shot through that small tower window. 4v4, the defense have conceded that man advantage, and suddenly, Penta, they could do this. They could take us to a map 3. They've no longer at such a harsh disadvantage. They know Tadas is up there, and they force this defense back in record pace, less than a minute, and already nearly full map control goes the way of Penta.
It's currently Black playing extremely aggressively. Legoman also almost getting in a bit of danger there, doing a lot of damage there on Aina, which is a good thing, and just miraculously making his way out of there without any scratch. So it was a good thing for him to do, but it was still, again, at the same time, a very big risk that he just took there, which in the end did slightly pay off. Luckily, Aina is still alive, is still able to open those hedges, which is her main job, as she is playing as the Hibana. And as it's still 4 versus 4, with 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock, both teams stand a decent chance right here, as they only lost Mai and the Twitch, which are both kind of on the same level of importance.
Absolutely, but that Twitch can't be used to destroy the mirror windows, which does slightly give the defense the edge here.
True.
They can still hold some of these angles, but it seems like the damage has already been done as Penta. They found ways to bypass these mirror windows. They've got that hatch open. They're not going for a freezer take, so Mirror losing a lot of the value in this round because they simply can't be used to see these attackers. Tim going very aggressive, gets Tadas on that elbow position. He's in a good position here for this cutoff to stop the defenders from stopping their plan. He puts that shield down in front of Legoman, who impacts it, but Tim, he comes right back out with a PDW, gets a kill. Kamikaze, 1v4. He's the only hope for Team Black to stop this from going to map 3, to get them to overtime. This is going to have to be a really good showing from Kamikaze. Heroics required, but he can't find the shots. Tero finally gets that kill. They've won their map. They've won the enemy's map pick, Penta, and we're on to map 3 now. But again, it's close. We could see this momentum switch ways. We could see Villa go any way because both teams going on these incredible round win streaks here.
It's a very interesting match today where both teams just seem to win each other's maps, which is very interesting. But yeah, that's it right here. 7-5 score there on Team Park for Penta, for the Black earlier, which was Penta's map, but then on the other side on Oregon, which was Black's map, was won by 4-7 by Penta. So currently a 1-1 score, as you can see right now, which means that we will be going to that final map for today, which is going to be Villa. But let's first talk a little bit more about Oregon. Oregon, I mean, we already did say at the beginning, this could become a map for Penta, as they will be starting on the defense, which did really pay off for them. They managed to win a total of 5 rounds, I'm saying that correctly? A total of 5 rounds on their defense, after which they then went to the attack, where they did really struggle in the beginning. I mean, they didn't win any attacking round for, I'm saying it, 3 rounds in a row. But then finally they managed to just bring things back together and start winning those rounds, and in the end win Oregon, which is a very good thing for them to do. which again brings them on that 1-1 score, where we will be going to that decider map. Beautiful map. Great work from both teams, I would say, but still Penta just doing a bit better here.
Yeah, and it was a dominant half for Penta on their defense, but you have to mention some of those rounds they won. Team Black surely should have won them, but just one critical oversight in each round completely dismantles their push, their execute. We see them not holding angles that they should be looking at. We see planters get killed when they just shouldn't be. So Team Black are going to be kicking themselves, because if you add in those rounds they won, it looks to be more of a 7-4 win for the side of Team Black here. But they let those rounds get away from them, and they just can't pick up the pieces afterwards. So honestly, Villa could go either way. Team Black, I would say, have still looked like the more dominant team in this matchup, but they've also got the bigger flaws. They're losing rounds they should win, whereas Penta, the rounds they lose don't really look like theirs to begin with.
Yeah, that's really one of the major differences. Yeah, the Penta just manages to get things like right, but when Black gets like an advantage, they just don't really are not really able to build further onto the advantage, which we did really see on the side of Penta when they were playing on Team Park. Penta sometimes did get an advantage, but just struggled so much to then finish the round off in their advantage. So it's kind of like the performance of the two teams kind of swapped over between the two maps. And after this, we'll be going to Villa. There's one little advantage that Penta will have in terms of round difference, meaning they will have the opportunity to decide which side they will be starting on. Villa, of course, I mean, let me just quickly bring up the stats for ESA specifically. There's a 58% on defensive wins versus a 42% on attack wins. So I already have a pretty strong feeling which side Penta is going to be picking here on Villa. And this, again, should be helping them, as the defense went so well on Oregon. It could potentially go very well on Villa as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see Villa very soon. We're going to throw to a quick 5-minute break.
Yeah.
Get your drinks, get your snacks, because this is going to be a close one. We've got an incredible series here, and it's all going to boil over on Villa.
Yeah, so quick break, and we'll be right back. Bye-bye. Welcome back, everyone. We're back for map 3 for today, which is going to be Villa, the decider map between these two teams, who seem to be so evenly matched, so well matched as the first map. Team Park went with a 7-5 to Black, and the second map went with a 4-7 to Penta, bringing us to this third map, Villa.
Yeah, this has been a close series, perhaps a bit sloppy at points. We've seen teams throw rounds that they shouldn't be really losing. We've seen these great win streaks in terms of rounds, teams winning 4 or 5 rounds in a row. So it's been a very odd, sort of a slugfest, I'd describe it. It's just back and forth, these great big blows from either team, and it's all coming down to Villa now. Penta, I believe, starting on the attack, on the defense, sorry, they had the better round differential throughout this matchup, so they got to choose. Villa favoring that defensive side, 58% win rate. Of course, they picked defense. Team Black choosing to start on defense in overtime, fairly common. But it's just, we've seen teams lose in situations that they shouldn't be losing and win in situations they shouldn't win. So really, anything could happen in this matchup. We could see one of these teams winning like 4 rounds on the attack for all we know, because it's just been a very odd matchup between these teams.
Yeah, it's kind of feels like a repeat of Monday, where Monday we saw these exact same maps, and it was also kind of like going one by one and then bringing us to the decider. Villa is going to be very important map, because like even for for Monday, Villa was in the end a 5-7 scorer. So again, also very close match. I'm kind of expecting something similar here, a very close match between these two teams, because of course it is the decider. This is the final chance for them to stay in this competition, because the loser will go home and the winner will proceed to the next round of the lower bracket and will compete against Nightwolves, I believe next week or so. I believe next week Friday or so. So it's going to be a very important one here. So this is basically the last chance for either of these two teams, and it can really go either way, where just Penta has this little advantage of starting on the defense, which should technically work in their advantage very well. So yeah, Villa, a map that we have already seen many times before. Operator bans. What could we really expect on this map? Do we have any idea?
I'd probably expect the Azami getting banned, because we've seen both teams struggle to dislodge her from her like powerful positions. So I would probably see an Azami being banned, maybe a Valkyrie as well. Valkyrie was a real thorn in the side of Team Black. On that Oregon. They just couldn't deal with it, and they were throwing away man advantages because of these Valkyrie camps. On the attack, Nook very highly banned. It's just a nice ban to have. It forces the attack to be a little bit more loud with these pushes. They can't go for as many sort of sneaky rat plays like Nook really plays into. And the other attacker is a real toss-up. Maybe Thatcher again, but we didn't see Thatcher being banned on Oregon, and even in Theme Park, it didn't seem to be that much of a problem. We just saw EMPs being brought instead.
Yeah, Thatcher is not as valuable anymore as it used to be. Like, it used to be so valuable, and also such a basically like a default ban, which is now kind of like the Nook is kind of becoming a default ban. We could potentially see a Jackal, which is quite useful on a map like Villa as well. We do see him being banned quite often, or being brought quite often there as well. And we did see him in the previous maps as well. So that could also be an option there. And additionally, I mean, Oza has been fairly strong, can be very strong on this map as well. Besides that, kind of think if I'm missing any. Yeah, like you already said, the Valkyrie could be a very big one here on the defense. But only time will tell. We're going to start with this match anytime soon. I believe it's almost time to start this match, as it very much is time. So I'll let you jump into this final map for today, Villa, the decider map between these two great teams. I'll let you see which team will be the stronger one today on this rematch. Because like I already said, they played before in the group stage. It was a 2-7 or 7-2 win for Black. And clearly Penta is already doing so much better now back in those group stages. Just see which team is going to be victorious here.
Yeah, we're heading to sunny Tuscany here, Villa. The battleground for this final map. This is the decider. This decides who goes home. We're not in the upper bracket. These teams don't have that luxury anymore. Loser of this is out. They forgo their chance to get to those finals. So it's a very stressful map here, and we're going to be seeing this ban phase now.
Yeah, we're going to see the ban phase indeed. So it's one of those questions that we were already like speculating about before this map. Which operators are going to be banned? This could very much be the Nook, or it will be coming from Team Black. That's just a question. But let's see who it is. Well, there you go. There's the Nook indeed. One of those very well expected operators. Like I already said, the most banned attacker at the moment. just adding 3 more bands to her name today, which actually will level her, put her on the same level as Solis. Who was Solis banned before today in any other previous maps?
I don't believe so.
Nah, so
No, she wasn't banned theme park, but they barely used her.
Yeah, so they'll put
Jackal's
her on
well
the
done.
same level as Solus. Both will be on 59 bans in total, which is like insane. And yeah, one of those other operators I did speculate about was the Jackal. It's the second most banned attacker, so it's not too much of a surprise. And on the map of Villa, which is so incredibly large, it's a well understood ban. I'm actually surprised it will come from the side of Black, as they will be starting on the attack. It could really be useful against the defense of Penta, and having him banned is a bit curious, but at the same time, like eventually they will need to defend as well. So better ban him if you really hate him. Well, there's your Arzami that you were really expecting, and for the first time today, Solus is being banned. So we're not going to see any Solus, which is kind of understandable. So many soft surfaces where Solus can even view through, and she's kind of like the IQ on the defense here. So in that way, she can be very strong on the map like Villa. So no Solus today, and without those 4 operators, they need to play today.
Notably, the Valkyrie is still on the board, and we're going to be seeing Madrino playing into that, playing that IQ, but it's all for nothing because Penta, they're not bringing it. So immediately we're going to be needing to see good drone work from the side of Team Black early on to identify the fact that IQ is no longer needed, and hopefully Team Black, upon realizing that, will choose something else. We've seen IQ have her usage, but without Valkyrie on the board, you're really better off picking someone else. Noticeably, they're lacking a second set of nades. Very important for Villa. These vertical play with those frag grenades is just great at puncturing open that site, because it's hard to get lines of sight and angles onto most of the positions on Aviator games. So going from below is really sort of required for these attacks. So if only Tadas has those nades, it could be problematic for the side of Team Black.
Yeah. Is Legoman really dropping the Ash for the Glass? Okay, that's an interesting one. Glass currently one of the worst performing operators within Siege. Very low win rate and very low pick rates. I mean, that's basically based on the ranked stats that we usually see like in the mid-season and pre-season notes that are usually being released. So it's kind of curious. I mean, of course, he can be very strong, especially with well-placed teamwork. He did pick the nade, so he doesn't have the opportunity to look through those smokes. Neither of his teammates pick smokes either. So that's kind of a loss there on his side, but still, I'm very curious to see how they're going to use him, as his thermal scope isn't as useful as it potentially could be.
It's a very early push from the side of Team Black. They're getting actively droned in. They've already taken Piano, and their next stop looks to be Red Stairs. They've noticed that Tim is playing there on the Goyo, but they don't care. They've got 6 sets of nades. Although they haven't gotten rid of that IQ, they've fixed that problem. They've got the Sledge, they've got the Glass, they've got the Ayana. They can use as much of this utility as they need to dislodge these defenders from this position. And Tim, he's got no ADSs. He's only got a maximum of a probably 2 or 3 magnets there. So he is very much at risk. Speaking of risk, he takes down Tadas through that vertical hole, winning that engagement. 1 set of nades down, but the refrag immediately comes in from Kamikaze with the frag grenade.
Yeah, immediate refrag there, bringing things to 4 versus 4 within the first 1 minute and 15 seconds. Tim currently playing here on the Red Stairs, just waiting for any of those attackers to make their way past Piano, from where he will find them in his crosshairs. But me also Madrino on the IQ, still playing from below, just gathering so much information, picking out those gadgets, finding those gadgets, destroying those gadgets even, which can be very strong. Especially as there's like a very low risk to take them out from below. Currently, this camera playing on those main stairs, finding Kamikaze, almost potentially finding second as the Q is playing very close. As Tim then also finds Legoman, leaving only 2 attackers, 1 attacker remaining as Ada finds Quake and Karma finds the last one. This round is going very convincingly towards Penta, putting the score on 0-1.
Yeah, Penta finding a flurry of kills by the end of that round. Their gun skill has just quite frankly been better over these past 2 rounds. They're winning these fights even through angles that you maybe wouldn't expect them to get these kills through. Think of Risk through that vertical hole that the Lego, I think it was Tadas on the Yana was already looking through, but Risk just wins that fight. Black, they haven't managed to fix that problem from map 2, and it's really not a problem you can truly fix. Gun skill is just something that happens. It can be with you, it can go against you. You can't really influence it like a strategy. It's just mechanical ability, and that can fluctuate between maps. We saw Team Black very good those gunfights round 1, but on map 1, but ever since then they've been just lagging behind in these engagements. So we're going to be seeing Team Black, maybe foregoing this glass this time, bringing a more standard push, still bringing that IQ, wary of the Valkyrie, wary of the Mozzie drones. But
10 seconds to
you
go.
might think that you just expect that maybe they should swap off that IQ. It's a security pick almost to just make sure they can't be stopped by the Valkyrie. But at the same time, every round that Valkyrie isn't brought, Madrino is losing value by being on the operator. He's a good gunner. I'm not taking that away from him. He can certainly win rounds with IQ just based off of having a gun alone. But really, you need more than just a good gun to win rounds on the attack. You need that utility to really funnel the defense back towards site to help with those executes. And that's something that IQ just doesn't bring. There's no nades, no smokes, no flashes. She's just got breaching charges. And when there's no Valkyrie to counter, she really just is not completely useless, but so much more of a detriment to the team when you compare the potential that Madrino could be playing.
Yes, generally, attackers are meanwhile making quite a bit of an entry right here on the southern side of the map. Mostly having control of the full southern side of the map, just trying to get towards the landing, and the ones the trophy engines do have the full control they are looking for. From here, they can put quite a bit of pressure on the bomb site itself. There's just not really too much to worry about yet, as there's no one really playing too close. But actually, Tim, however, playing in the bomb site, playing inside of Sanctuary, finding Madrino, taking him out. That's the IQ of the board. Still looking for a first bit of utility to find with a scanner. And this Ada finds another one just from the window. Is he standing inside of the window?
I think he is. Oh,
yes. Probably from the batter. Yeah, like probably from the batter, some kind of nice vault. Very strong position, finding someone. And this is already a 3 versus 5 situation within the first 1.5 minutes. But then luckily, Legoman finds one. Takes out Tim, takes out the Mozzie, bringing things to 3 versus 4. Still in the advantage of Penta.
But Penta's still in a good spot here. They've got these avenues on lockdown. And that being said, another flurry of kills to finish out this round. Penta, when the time comes, they're hitting their marks with these shots. They just seem to have this knowledge of where the attack are coming from. And every single time so far, it's worked out well. They've gotten these final kills. It's just a completely different Penta than you saw that map 1. They're just alive at this point, and Black just don't know how to respond to it.
Yeah, so far Penta is starting things off in a very dominant way. Just winning those first 2 rounds pretty convincingly. It's just not making things to look too great for Black yet. Yes, it's only the second round. We're now heading into the first. Things can still go either way.